every day. KZDC San Antonio.
This is
Jason Minix, Rob Thompson, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio. 94.5 if you're sexy. 1250 on the AM side.
All right.
I don't know where that came from.
Don't do that.
Look at James Pledger sitting in the mothership. If you're on ESPNSA.com, avert your eyes. you can watch us live as always. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I'm stumbling into Monday as most are, although I don't get started until like 4 o'clock. You guys had a head start on me, but we got a lot of fun today. We're going to go a little early. As usual, we'll be out for Texas Rangers baseball, brought to you by New Brakes Mobile Brake Repair. They got the Twins on the docket tonight. Lots of Sox work over the weekend. We'll talk some Rangers for sure. Jason, how was your weekend?
My weekend was actually really good from what I remember. You know, Friday night I was reined in watching bad movies, something that the wife picked, and then Saturday went to Slackers for their crawfish boil and ended up doing a bit of a dive bar stopping at a lot of different places along the way, and then trying to remember where we left the car when we jumped into Uber. And then yesterday was a good day and surrounded with a lot of draft coverage. And Sam Houston State football winning a huge game yesterday.
Sam Houston State football on a Sunday in May.
Beautiful.
I'm just gonna say I forgot about it. I'm going to be brutally honest. It didn't cross my mind at all, although I'd like to thank the entire Dakota region for participating in this year's playoffs. As every Dakota school was exited yesterday.
They were. Sam Houston won away from playing for a national championship. This Saturday, they're going to be playing James Madison on ABC. And I saw an interesting tweet that the last time the Sam Houston State Bearcats were on ABC is when Steve McNair led Alcorn State in there in 1994.
I would have thought it would have been never, but I'm glad McNair, to be real honest, but I'm glad they're there. Hey, we need to promote that. It looked like a pretty good couple of games. So we're semifinals this week and then finals just before it hits 110 degrees.
Yeah, May 16th up there in Frisco. Bought my plane tickets this morning just in case.
It's just to be on standby to go head up to Frisco. Hey, it's football. We'll take it. Well, of course, we're going to talk a lot about the draft. It was a good draft.
Sure, we'll find out in a couple of years.
That's exactly it. Now it's time for all the pundits to lay down their grades. Yeah, I think there's something to grades. I don't think I saw anybody do anything just stupid. There wasn't anybody just flat out stupid. There were some individual strange picks, but I didn't see anybody, trade everything they could for a ridiculousness. I didn't see that. So I think all in all, the lack of knowledge with players, which I do think played a huge role in how teams drafted, and will play a huge role in how we grade these things, just because there was no unified theory of this guy is good and this guy isn't. So I can only grade drafts by what I saw the administration do, and I didn't see anybody do anything outrageously stupid. That includes the Cowboys, so it
does include the Cowboys, and quite frankly, I mean, I think it also includes the Houston Texans, who are getting trash grades for their draft. I mean, they're all over the board from D's to C's, and again, we won't know for a couple of years, and so I'm not a fan of the draft grade process. I understand that it creates content. Yes, I go read and I look for them too, but it's in the eye of the beholder. I look at the Cowboys were trashed for what they did Friday night. And quite honestly, I wasn't thrilled with what they did on Friday night, because they're drafting a bunch of guys that I didn't know who they were versus, I'm looking at everybody else's boards, all the guys that spend their days and that's how they make their livelihood, is putting together draft boards. And it kind of felt like the Cowboys were drafting guys a round or two ahead of schedule, because there were guys that I knew that were on the board versus that one, right? And I think most of us are that way. And then you get one guy that trashes it, and then it creates the snowball effect. But at the same time, you start looking at the individual players outside of a safety. the Cowboys look like they filled a bunch of needs. The other part is it with especially when you had as many picks as the Cowboys did. Not every one of those dudes are going to make the team. I mean, they're just not. But it is going to create a lot of competition for Dan Quinn on the defensive side, and hopefully that helps out everybody.
I think 3 starters were picked up over the weekend. By the end of the season, there'll be 3 defensive starters from this draft. And initially I would put that as a success, but you're right. We can't grade this thing. We'll look at what the Cowboys did in the prism of the NFC East, the NFC, and also with the backdrop of Aaron Rodgers still wanting to desperately leave Green Bay. Of course, we'll talk lots about the draft. We certainly want to have y'all's opinion on that. Spurs go down last night, yet another heartbreaker. I don't know if Pop is just such a remarkable genius that he is capable of losing games like this anytime you want. We'll keep it close. We could just, anytime you need it, we can pull a desperately needed loss out of a win's mouth. I don't know, man. Either that or the unluckiest team that has ever fielded a silver and black uniform. I can't figure out one or the other, but it's tough. As long as you just go with, they're a 500. They're a 500 team. That's what they are. They are.
And again, with a whole bunch of dudes sitting out, they went down to the wire against what is now the top seed in the East. That tip-in put Philadelphia at the 1 in overtime. Yet again.
Well, we owed them that favor because we allowed Boston. Well, we owed them that favor. They had to get that win to get first because of what we let Boston do just a couple of nights before. We let their primary competitor come from, 75 points down and get a win, something like that. And the least we could do is allow Ben Simmons a little tip-in to win a game just because of what we allowed Boston to do just a couple. That was 2 consecutive games. That's what's happened to the Spurs.
It's interesting that we are on a mindset, and I know you and I are kind of the same way. You guys listening, you tell me if I'm feeling this wrong, but you're mad when you blow a game like they did against Boston. I mean, just live it. And it's interesting because we had such a big lead, and then with all the rain, the DirecTV went out, so we put on a bad movie, and I just assumed the Spurs were going to win that game. I didn't check Twitter the entire time I was watching the movie. And when I turned Twitter back on, I was like, well, what happened? I mean, just how do you blow that lead? Would they have a 99% chance of winning that thing in the third quarter?
It's hard to lose like that. That I think that goes to the genius that is Pop. You know how difficult it is to drop a 29-point lead, allow another dude to go get 60? That's tough, man. You want to talk about X's and O's. You want to talk about coaching yourself into a lottery pick? Now, all we can hope for is the Pelicans to remain hot. We got 2.5 games that we've got to punt to them over the next 2 weeks to see if we can get it going. Pop's doing his part. And Clayton just went up on our Facebook feed. If you want to watch us live, ESPN San Antonio on Facebook, or you can go to ESPNSA.com and see that very same feed, our YouTube channel. Brought up something. Yeah, let's look at the, that glow that you see in a building that was recently bombed. It can either be real pretty or it could be the post of fire. Well, that glow that we see right now, that's Lonnie Walker, man.
Oh, okay. I was trying to figure out where you were going with that. If we're planning for next year in the rubble that is the destroyed San Antonio Spurs season over the last couple of games after those heartbreaks, Lonnie is playing well. That sixth man's kind of good to him. Lonnie's been in, I mean, individually, there are some guys having very nice seasons for the San Antonio Spurs. Lonnie is one. DeJounte, as of late, I'm really impressed with what he's been able to do. There are some bright spots. And again, most of the time what happened to the Spurs over the weekend between Boston and Philadelphia would have a whole bunch of Spurs fans on the ledge, right? I just don't sense that right now because the realization that they're not a good team. They're not a championship team. They're not really a playoff team, but they're going to be in the LeBron-loved playoff tournament. Unless they can really, really, really coach their way out of it. See, some might say that was embarrassing what happened to the Spurs. You're thinking Pop is a mad genius.
Well, it's either that or we better call a culandero, man. We need to crack an egg under a bed or something because that kind of luck, you don't just come by. You earn. Something happened. Somebody broke a mirror, walked underneath the ladder. I don't know what they did, but you lose 2 games like that over a period of 3 days, you need to really you need to do some self-examination, one, or just kind of realize, man, sometimes the bull's just going to get you. It got us twice. I mean, sometimes you just walk around, it's going to come get you. John Machota is going to join us. We'll look at the Cowboys draft through an expert's eye. He of The Athletic at 5:15. Spurs talk in general, but in specifics at 6 o'clock. Jill Jelnick will join us for Game Night San Antonio, which is always brought to you by Mellow Mushroom. But doesn't that sound good right about now for a Monday evening? Go get yourself a big old pie and sit down and watch the Jazz and the first of a gentleman's back-to-back with a day off in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah. Coming back, we'll look at the draft. Cowboys concluded by most measures solid, if not spectacular. A couple of reaches. Let's look at the rest of what the Cowboys did since last we spoke. Coming up, Cowboys talk here on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
You know, it is grilling season. You're going to fire up your grill. You want the most authentic sausage you can have on that grill, you know, the kind you could find in a butcher shop back in the old days. Then Kielbasa smoked sausage is what you're looking for. You see, at Kielbasa, they make their legendary smoked sausage in small 150-pound batches with only fresh, high-quality ingredients, never frozen meat. They don't add fillers or chemicals that you can't pronounce. Then it is smoked over real hardwood, just the way Rufus Kielbasa did back in 1949 when he started the company here in San Antonio. And Kielbasa is a great local company. Everything they make is made right here in San Antonio. They're on a mission to reintroduce you to authentic smoked meats. So when you buy Kielbasa brand sausage, you know you're getting the best, most authentic smoked sausage you'll ever eat. If it's not, call Michael Kielbasa. He'll give you your money back. He guarantees it's the best. That's why he puts his phone number on the back of every package sold. Kielbasa sausage is now available at Walmart, and you can find Kielbasa sausage, bacon, chorizo, and breakfast links at an H-E-B near you. You're going to fire up the grill? Go get some Kielbasa today.
I'm Justin Tatro, official organist of the Texas Rangers, and this is your home for Rangers baseball. 1250 AM and 94.5 FM, ESPN San Antonio.
Jason Minix here for BSG, the company that brings you the best in home security and smart home technology. I kind of wish I could get my security system to have that organ chime instead of the other alerts. I think that'd be pretty cool. The security system that I have in my house is from BSG. The video cameras, video doorbell, the other features, they're fantastic. The camera systems that BSG offer are so good. Not only do you get a great picture, but it can tell if it's a person, animal, or car. So you're not going to get a bunch of notifications every time a car goes down your street, but you can find out which one of your neighbor's dogs is leaving that gift in your yard. And don't be fooled by those price club systems you have to install yourself. You'll be shocked at how reasonable new smart cameras from BSG can be. Call them 210-877-1222 or go to bsgtexas.com to get your free in-home estimate. BSG is San Antonio's home technology company, a great local company built on trust, quality, and safety. They're the best in the industry. Call 210-877-1222 or the website bsgtexas.com. That's bsgtexas.com.
This is Rob Thompson. I'm with my brother, Jason, my lawyer. He's with the Thompson Law Firm. Now, Jason, I got a question for you. I see lawyer advertisements, billboards, TV. How do I choose a lawyer?
I see the exact same advertisements, and it would be tough, I think, if you don't have a relationship with an attorney deciding who to pick. I think the things that you need to think about are whether or not the law firm and the lawyer I hire will be my lawyer. And what I mean by that is not a face on a billboard, but never actually seeing that lawyer. I'm talking about hiring the lawyer that I want to represent me. And so when you come in, I am the one that meets you, and I will take you through every step of the process. I will handle the insurance companies. I will help you with your recovery. I will take you through that entire process, and knowing full well that that is my client, not just for today, but for the rest of their life.
Be smart. Protect yourself and your family. Call Jason Thompson, a lawyer for us. 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyer4us.com.
Blake Stevens with San Antonio-based GPS of Texas. If you have commercial vehicles on the road, you're a target for personal injury lawyers. I mean, you're wearing a bullseye. Our system can protect you if there is an accident with proof of speed, video monitoring, even proof that your driver wasn't on his phone. Don't get hammered. Have real proof that you weren't at fault by installing our GPS camera tracking system. Call GPS of Texas at 444 210-587-7634 or gpsoftexas.com.
Sorry to interrupt your jams, murder mystery podcasts, or motivational beach noises, but we got something else you might like to hear. It's called cash. That's the sound of an extra $250 after your first 10 deliveries with Uber Eats. That's right, an extra $250 on top of all the other cash you'll make during those first 10 deliveries. If that sounds good, visit t.uber.com/extra250. Uber Eats, deliver with us. Limited time offer, terms apply. See t.uber.com/extra250 for more details.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the US that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
It's the Blitz. Welcome on to ESPN San Antonio. Hope you had a fine weekend. We got a good show for you. I want to remind everybody, Mother's Day is coming quick. If you haven't taken care of that, we have something for you. Service First ACM Plumbing Mother's Day Contest. It's easy to win. We all know we all got the best moms. You can prove it to her by registering to win $1,000 for Mother's Day at ESPNSA.com. Brought to you by Service First Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Give mom the very best. A bouquet of fresh hundos. How about $1,000 for Mother's Day? ESPNSA.com. Go there to get yourself signed up. The NFL draft is complete. The Cowboys leaned in on defense. They told us they were going to do it. They had the plan to go do it. And, Jason, they went and did it. Now, it was a weekend that by every measure, was hard on the Cowboys staff, because at every choice for the first 3 rounds anyway, it seemed like everybody was after the same guy they were. And every time it felt like for 3 rounds, somebody took the guy we thought they were going to get. And with that in mind, considering what they ended up with, it might not be the superstar. Well, there's no CeeDee Lamb to show off. There's nothing like that to show off. But I think they drafted appropriately given the situation that they were in. And in my mind, that's all you can ask of a scouting department and a general manager. You know, react, take the body blows, don't do anything stupid, and go get what you need. And they did that. And in my mind, that's enough.
Well, and again, when I look at what the Dallas Cowboys ultimately did, and I know they're getting hammered for what they did Friday night, especially, and a lot of the experts said that they reached. The reality, and Will McClay, the de facto GM for the Dallas Cowboys, basically said this year was very different. That everybody created their own boards, and generally scouts, they're going around and all traveling together. So you get a bit of a pack mentality. After you've gone to the game or the practice, you're sitting around at dinner and you're evaluating everybody. And, the scouts generally have a good idea. In this case, the Cowboys board was a board that they put together for them with what they needed. And clearly with this draft, Dan Quinn had a ton of influence because they got a lot of Dan Quinn type of guys. And so while we might not be thrilled about this corner or that corner, the reality is if that's what Dan Quinn wanted, Dan Quinn got it.
Well, I mean, there was access to other guys. I mean, they could have made moves. You felt like if they really wanted somebody, they could have gone and got him, and they didn't. I appreciate that they leaned in on defense, and certainly you're right. Dan Quinn's got his guys, and it's certainly physically going to look a lot like what we last saw his successful defense looking like in Seattle. Legion of Boom. Fast, big guys running at the quarterback, it seems like. Now, all that in mind, and we'll look at each one of the individual picks, but the idea of the number of linebackers, it is a ridiculous. It's kind of like Pop and his desire to have the positionless basketball player. We got a bunch of athletes on this defensive side. I'm just not sure where they're all going to fit on a regular basis.
When I look at obviously, with their first round pick, Micah Parsons, he's automatically going to, if he ain't a starter, he's going to be a regular rotation guy. But I could certainly, expect to see him in there. Jabril Cox was such a value pick for where you got him. Out of LSU, it transferred around some question marks on him, but you're right. I mean, there's was it Luke Gifford? He's still around. He probably he probably ain't happy. The Cowboys do announce today, or technically the agent for Leighton Vander Esch announced that the Cowboys are not picking up his 5th-year option. Stephen Jones said on 105.3 The Fan, they still want to keep him around for years to come, but for salary cap reasons, they didn't feel like there was a need to pick up his option this year. And he's got to be able to stay healthy and stay on the field. I mean, I think that's a big part of it. He didn't get his option picked up at $9-10 million because, well, if he can't stay healthy, why would they commit to that, especially if Micah comes in and does what they expect him to do?
In the grand history of the Dallas Cowboys, while I appreciate the Micah Parsons draft, he was the best guy available, and that he's going to make an immediate impact on that defense. It certainly looks like a good one. I like the Jabril pick as well. It's just unfortunate that, that linebacker position 2 years ago we thought was sewn up, that wasn't even a position of need, not even need to be looked at. We got two comers, two future all, maybe Pro Bowl, if not all pro level linebackers. And, how quickly that narrative changed. One, because I think he got paid too much. And the other, that neck injury, while Steven and Jerry continue to tell us, it's not that big a deal. It just seems to be big enough for him to be, well, you can hang around. And if it doesn't work out, we'll just fix the glitch. At the end of the contract, we'll just fix the glitch. And we'd love to have you around for years. Now, we're not going to pay you past next year, but we'd love to have you here.
Well, and if you have a really good year, it's going to cost us more money. If you can get 17 games out of you, that's great. But you're right. The other part with linebackers, and we spent a lot of time on safeties and talking about the need for a safety, and the Cowboys didn't draft a safety. Now you look at, Trevion Moorhead got drafted by the Raiders right ahead of when I thought the Cowboys might get him. I mean, it was, and there was a couple of those damn it moves where you thought that a guy that the Cowboys were targeting, goes at pick your 3 right in front of you. So their ability to react. But when you look at some of the bigger tight ends and some of the slot receivers that you traditionally cover with the safety, is it possible with the addition of some of these athletic linebackers that they're going to use the linebackers in the positions where you would typically have a safety?
Gonna have to.
Because the depth and athleticism there, you use the term positionless basketball. You kind of wonder, are they thinking linebacker and strong safety or kind of that de facto position where you can cover but also be involved in the run game?
I was led to believe that Keanu Neal was also a safety, but our new defensive coordinator has redefined that position. Evidently, he's now a linebacker. It does lend me to thinking, okay, so who's still back there? We got Donovan, right? Former Aggie, a safety that will hit you, but will just as easily get burnt or hurt himself. And then
KZ.
And then Kazee, right? Kazee or KZ, whatever, who was injured. We haven't seen him play in a year. There's still some talent acquiring to be done, right? We're not going into...
Don't forget Thompson. How do you forget your Thompson?
Well, again, there's still some more talent acquisition to come, right? Because while I appreciate having all these guys, I do think that the intent will be, well, if we make a mistake, at least we're going to hit you really hard. And I'm kind of down with that because just like last year, Jason, didn't we just tell all you got to do is hold them to 25, 24 points. If you could just 4 touchdowns, if you can keep it at 4 touchdowns, dude, that's all we need. And I think we need to adjust our sights to that yet again. If you just be adequate, just a turnover here and there, you can give up 4 touchdowns. I think we'll be okay. And if we go by that mantra, I think the Cowboys did great. And while we stay on the state of Texas real quickly, I know that the draft meant absolutely nothing to the Houston Texans. They barely had any scratch in the game. But and you brought up something early when we opened the show, how badly they're just getting destroyed by what they did. I think if you only have 3 picks, You shouldn't even. I mean, okay, you're auditing. I mean, unless those 3 picks are at least one in the very first 5, anything you end up with in the 3rd round as your first overall pick, congratulations, man. Thanks for sticking it out. I have no issue with what they did because, they did what the Cowboys did. They drafted for need, appropriate need, and the best guy that they found. That's enough.
It's funny because I don't necessarily know if I totally agree with that because, my God, if there was a defense worse than the Cowboys, it was the Houston Texans, yet they took a lot of offensive players. Now, I like the tight end that they picked up, and I think their first pick was a quarterback, not one of the ones that we were all talking about, but a big dude out of Stanford, which what does that tell you about the future of Deshaun Watson? This is, not quite Green Bay taking a quarterback in the first round, but they realize, and let's face it, a lot of starting quarterbacks in this league weren't taken in the first round. So if that was the guy they liked, they had no ability, no draft capital, thanks Bill O'Brien, to maneuver into the first or second round or to do any of that kind of stuff. They didn't sacrifice next year's draft trying to get somebody this year. It was very much a almost status quo, and Nick Caserio saying best player available on our board when it's our time to pick, regardless of what it is. I did see a long snapper get taken. At least the Texans didn't do that.
Well, I mean, you don't come by a good long snapper all that often. So,
they're available in the undrafted market.
Who? I didn't see that. I wasn't paying attention. So there was, in fact, a deep
long
snapper drafted.
Yes.
God, that would piss me off if I was trying to get drafted. That guy just got drafted? You mean the guy that shows up? Yeah,
ahead of you.
That's about 25 minutes worth of practice every day, and then goes, that guy?
Yeah, best golfer on the team.
Yeah, probably, absolutely. Lots of Cowboys talk coming through this. Don't forget, John Machota of The Athletic will join us at 5:15 for his perspective on the draft. Aaron Rodgers, we didn't even begin to talk about that. And as the draft is now done, isn't that story number 1 in the NFL? Isn't Aaron Rodgers and what Green Bay is going to do, whether to pay him and stay him or let him go, is that not going to be the theme until we see activity there or teams in pads?
Yes, and 1A is Aaron Rodgers, 1B is Deshaun Watson. I think those two quarterbacks who are, at least in the case of Denver and to a degree Miami, the potential landing spots for those guys are exactly the same. And so one has 22 civil lawsuits pending against him. One, well, he just needs a new address and a change of altitude, pun intended.
Mile High City. No one needs to be in Denver more than Aaron Rodgers, and a lot of reasons. That dude's wrapped a little tight. Need to
relax.
Pop that spring just a little bit.
He needs to go somewhere and relax.
Just ease into it, man. Chill. That's all you need to do, Aaron. It's all good. When we come back, it ain't all good with the Spurs, or is it? Spurs went through the most desperate weekend I can remember as a Spurs fan. 32-point lead, and they give up 60 to Jason Tatum, quickly followed up by a tip at the buzzer by Ben Simmons. That's 0-2 to you and me, 0-3 in the last 3, and the Pelicans are coming. Could be a good thing. We'll talk Spurs coming up next on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Jason Minix here for Alamo Water Softeners. In San Antonio, we have some of the hardest water in the country. And while we can't control the quality of the water supply that comes to your house, you can control the quality that comes through it. Don't wait until you suspect something's wrong with your water to call Alamo Water Softeners because, some chemicals and contaminants are undetectable. Let Alamo Water Softeners come out to your house. They'll give you a free water analysis and a free estimate. Make sure you get a water softener that fits your family's needs. I've had a water softener from Alamo Water Softeners in my home for about a decade. Wouldn't live without one. And Alamo Water Softeners is a great local company owned by the Townsends. They're great to work with, and they were voted a 2020 neighborhood favorite on the Nextdoor app. Alamo Water Softeners provides the best value for the highest quality water treatment. Do like I did and discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Go to alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com.
100% sports, 100% of the time. That's 200% sports.
Your math is blowing my mind.
San Antonio's sports leader. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM. All day, every day.
You know, injuries do happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need to know about the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. From a minor sprain to a compound fracture, TSAOG Orthopedics has got you covered. Not all injuries require surgery. Dr. David Espinosa treats all non-operative orthopedic injuries, and he does concussion baseline testing. They do have telemedicine services available through Ortho Connect. There's no reason for you to be in pain. If you're hurting, visit the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Go to their website, tsaog.com. That's tsaog.com.
Thomas J. Henry recently recovered $20 million for a back injury in a product liability case. If you were hurt in an accident, we can help. Visit tjhlaw.com/radio to start your claim today. That's tjhlaw.com/radio. San Antonio, Texas.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español? Hablo. It's hablo? Yes. It's hablo.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real-life situations.
The app is so easy to use and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. That's babbel.com, BABBEL.com.
When your AC fails in the San Antonio heat, there is no time to search. Save Service First in your contacts and have an AC tech on speed dial 24/7. Service First. Save us before you need us.
Have Service First in your phone. 5211500.
You can talk keto all you want, but if you don't have a team of great tasting snacks behind you, you're not going to win the diet marathon. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds have these big, bold flavors that kick your taste buds into high gear. Korean kimchi barbecue, pasilla chili cheese, spicy dill, and more. Eat them right out of the bag or try them in your favorite recipes. You'll love this snack. Visit your local H-E-B and southernrecipesmallbatch.com to see the power of the rind.
Goodyear knows the importance of keeping momentum as you head down the stretch. Momentum starts with movement. It's pulled from the air like a contested rebound. Momentum builds with steals and fast breaks, and is proven by deep threes as the shot clock expires. Momentum is how we change the game, and now it's time to discover where it can take us. Goodyear, more driven.
For the ones who get going when the going gets tough, and the ones who know we're tougher together. For the Pathfinders breaking new ground, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as fast access to experts and 24/7 customer support. Because we know you have people depending on you, so you can always depend on us. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Let's get wild.
It's the Blitz. The Blitz is brought to you by the Thompson Law Firm. Jason Thompson, San Antonio lawyer, from here, works here, will take care of you. The number you need is 210-900-0400. In all seriousness, if you've been in an auto collision and you've been injured, call Jason Thompson as soon as you can. He'll take care of everything. Remember, that first call is always absolutely free. You get free consultation and great legal advice, and he'll take care of you and deal with those insurance companies as you get well. 210-900-0400 is a website at lawyerforus.com. So the Spurs valiantly attempting to keep this playoff race interesting as we watch the LeBron James Lakers trade stumble into the playoff to play in. The Spurs are endeavoring just to hang in there. They've lost 3 straight. The Pelicans, I thought we had put the wooden spike into their hearts last week when we beat them and put them to sleep, but they refuse to die. They've got Captain America on their team, some kind of Marvel thing happening, and they've won 2 as the Spurs have lost 3. Spurs still have 2.5 games up on the Pelicans. It won't be easy, but if we do things right, Jason, if Greg Popovich can continue in this ongoing effort to play solid basketball for about, 46 minutes a game, then I think that all things are possible, and we could have 2-3 more lottery balls to play with when this season is done and not have to worry about some kind of stupid play-in.
Well, I mean, again, would they go to overtime again? Last night, so 48 wasn't enough, 46 not enough, and it came down to 0.2 and a tip-in in a game that DeMar doesn't play. Imagine if DeMar was in that game down the stretch. Although, it's weird because you see all the guys that are out, you see what they're playing against, and it was kind of like the Phoenix game. I went to an event last night, recorded the game, except for I only recorded the pregame show. Apparently, I didn't. Record the whole thing, and kind of wish I'd have seen it. Kind of glad I didn't. Kind of one of those, watch the extended highlights on ESPN and you get a gist of what happened. Spurs played great. I don't think that Philadelphia really did, and in the end, Spurs let another one get away. In most years, a loss like that would be so frustrating. But even the comments after, the post-game interviews, they're not devastated by these losses.
Dude, we're numb. We're numb. We lost on a tip, and it was no big deal because Friday night we had a 32-point lead and allowed Jason. What did he get in the second half? 39 points. Yeah, we're a little numb to the tip in at the buzzer. It's the one that happened Friday night still stings just a little bit. Well, that is a horrible 72 hours to be a basketball fan.
You got to find good, creative ways to continue to lose games and deal with it. Pop. I never imagined Pop would be the let's find the glass half full kind of coach, and that's what he is becoming this year. His interviews aren't the mean, nasty. He's angry at the world. We're soft. He's finding the bright spots, man. It's very, very different.
And what bright spots, pray tell, do you believe he found?
Well, Lonnie Walker. Glowingly of Lonnie Walker and his play last night. And it was, it was, in the Tim Duncan era, a loss like that would have been a 17-second post-game interview session with Greg Popovich. And he might have said 2 words.
Well, yeah. Unless you did it by design. Now, I say this facetiously.
Yeah, we know.
What a terrible weekend it has been. And for the psyche of a team that just keeps taking body blows and is staggering toward the end of the 12th. This weekend was a shot to the gut and a follow uppercut. I mean, boom, boom. The Spurs are staggering as they take a cross-country flight. They get the Jazz tonight, and we know what the Jazz are capable of. And Quinn Snyder's had a pretty decent team, and they've kind of had the Spurs number of late. But maybe they get an opportunity and bounce back, because one thing we know, the Spurs are a 500 basketball team. That's what they are. And I expect the numbers to shake out that they're going to get a win here against Utah here in the next 2. If they don't, that's good news too, because the Pelicans continue to charge. And you're right. There are good things that are coming out. I'd like to welcome to the San Antonio Spurs one Gorgie gang. 3-point shooting.
Expert. Yeah.
As we were told, it's an awkward looking shot, but effective. Absolutely huge. No, think about what the interaction we saw between he and Lonnie Walker, how the floor is spread, the attacking can happen. That I can see why we went and got Gorgie. It made perfect sense at the time. Unfortunately, it took 3 weeks to actually use him because he got hurt 3 minutes into his Spurs career. And in the meantime, we lost not our best, but our most important starter in Derek White. So, yeah, welcome to the party. I'm glad you're here. Now continue in the effort to lose by 1 late, and things will all be just fine. Jazz tonight, we're going to talk with Jill Jelnick of Sports2Nite in Yolo, Texas for Game Night San Antonio just after 6 o'clock, as it's brought to you by Mellow Mushroom. We'll dive into what the Jazz are doing and talk a little bit about the rest of the league, MVP and the like, as the season does wind down. But coming back, looking around the NBA, this play-in thing, It was a good idea by most measures. LeBron liked it when it was first introduced. Things have changed, though. Some things are good for me, and they're bad for you. Some things are good for you, and they're bad for me. Evidently, you are them to LeBron. It's good for you. It ain't for me. LeBron, don't like the playoff. We'll talk about it next. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com. You know, you hear all the time, getting old stinks. Normally when you say things like that, it's because you just don't feel good. You're just not getting enough sleep, not feeling right, probably overeating a little bit, and all in all, not living a very healthy lifestyle. If that's you, you can fix it remarkably quickly. And I'm not talking about doing anything other than adjusting your diet. I went and met Dr. Jacob Torres at the Institute for Functional Health about a year and a half ago. The IFH has literally changed my life. Medical professionals taking control and helping you to lose weight on a program set up just for you. Now, I'm not talking about off the rack. I'm not talking about something you find online or even a book that you read. I'm talking about medical professionals taking your medical history into play, putting together a program specifically and only for you, monitoring you with throughout this program, providing guidance, help, and all the medical backup that you're required on a weight loss and a health journey. That's what I jumped on. Year and a half later, down nearly 45 pounds at last check. Look good in fashionable clothes and all the things that goes along with it. Hey, it's the best thing I've ever done. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if your numbers are getting to the point where you're really going to be considering medication, or maybe you're already on that. Maybe there's a loved one in your house that just is not sleeping well and all the things that go along with carrying that obese weight. You can fix it. You can fix it easy, and Dr. Torres will tell you how. I want you to call them. Free consultation. Here's the number, 210-468-1891. 210-468-1891, a number that will literally change your life. Go check out the website, IFFhealth.com. Take that functional health quiz. It'll open your eyes. Call Dr. Jacob Torres. Change your life and have a professional along the way to help you do it. The IFF is the best thing I ever did. I want you to call the Institute for Functional Health today, and I'm sure you'll thank me later.
Hey, don't get left out of the conversation.
I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if you did.
Follow us on Facebook at ESPN San Antonio and on Twitter at ESPN_SA.
And of course, on the go at ESPNSA.com.
1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Nigel, why did you bring me to this bridge?
I've decided to make a change. I'm going to be more adventurous, take more risks, do something extreme. I'm fixing to bungee jump off this bridge.
Nigel, if you want to do something extreme, you could actually try working for once.
You can't change my mind. I'm committed, locked in, ready to take the plunge.
Do me a favor. Look down.
Oh, dear.
Folks, no one wants to call a plumbing or AC company, but when you do, it shouldn't feel like you're taking a risk on choosing the right one. At Quarter Moon, we make sure your call is answered quickly, and a trained Quarter Moon technician is at your home or office fast. Your plumbing or AC issue will not only be fixed, measures will be taken to prevent problems from happening again.
Joel, it's a long way down. I don't think bungee jumping was a good idea after all. I'm getting off this bridge.
I think that's best, little buddy. I'm proud of you. Here's a pat on the back.
Wait, no! Joel!
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat and AC, 210-651-5899. License number M13229, TACLA, 000743445E.
I need these boxes in bin 7. Oh, hello. Hi. I just wanted to call in and find out when next...
Whitney's warehouse foreman just retired, and the replacement needs to move to fulfillment.
Hold on. Guys, can we get the dock cleared now?
Indeed can help her hire the people she needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
I need these boxes in bin 7. Oh, hello. Hi. I just wanted to call in and find out when next...
Whitney's warehouse foreman just retired, and the replacement needs to move to fulfillment.
Hold on. Guys, can we get the dock cleared now?
Indeed can help her hire the people she needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is your new home speaking. I know you haven't moved in yet, but I need some favors. Could you dust the blinds? The dust makes me feel dusty. Also, we could save a lot of money if you bundled your home and car insurance with Geico. It's super easy to do online or over the phone. Last favor, when you move in, could you stick to one aesthetic? The last owner had a weird mix of floral wallpaper and nautical tchotchkes, and I can't have another identity crisis.
Geico. For bundling made easy, go to geico.com today.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It is the Blitz. You are on ESPN San Antonio. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. Watch us live at ESPNSA.com. In fact, go there on the regular. That's where our audio vault is and all the games we play. Catch up on all things in the audio vault and play all of our games like right now, winning yourself $1,000 for Service First ACM Plumbing for our Mother's Day contest. Go there post-haste. In the 5 o'clock, John Machota of The Athletic will join us at 5:15 as we look at the Dallas Cowboys draft from his perspective. We'll look around the rest of the draft, too. But first, as the Spurs sit in 10th place, hanging precariously ahead of the Pelicans, the idea of the play-in seems kind of ridiculous to us because there ain't nothing past the play-in. Even if you won, ain't nothing good going to happen. On the other side of that coin, the Lakers continue to plummet. News today that Schroeder, their backup point guard, the one with the interesting hair, has fallen into the COVID protocol vault and will be gone for the next 14 days probably. LeBron rolled an ankle and he's cranky. But I want to take you to just 1 year ago, Jason, when this was a fantastic idea.
March 26th of 2020 on the Road Trippin' podcast that LeBron was on there with Richard Jefferson and the idea of a play-in tournament.
I don't know how to find a way where they can have, if you're going to make the playoffs, why not play against a team that's in front of you or behind you to see who makes it?
Why not a best of 3 play-in?
That too. I mean, there's been so many conversations that's been tinkered around. I have not been on the calls. It's just my mind thinking and talking. There could be a best out of a 3-team play-in. There could be, listen, there's 5 games left in the regular season. Let those 4 teams play each other, and then whoever got the best record out of that, maybe the final 2 teams had the best record play each other for a game off to make the 8th seed. But like RJ said, when you're dealing with guys like, they got Dame, they got CJ, they got Melo experience, they get Nurkic back, they got Hassan Whiteside, those 2 dogs in there, and in a Ariza with the championship experience. Yeah, they got the most experience out of all those teams. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens, man.
Yeah, well, and again, that was March 26th of 2020, and Commissioner LeBron spoke it into existence. Now, they didn't put it together the way he wanted, but the idea of a play-in tournament, interesting, but I find it interesting. The Dallas Mavericks were bitching about it a couple of weeks ago. LeBron now bitching about it because, well, they're going to be in it, or they might be in it. And if you're not going to be in it, it's a great idea. But if you're in it, maybe that's not the best place you want to be, which to me makes it perfect.
Well, that's the plan, right? To be fighting for it. Yeah, it's good for them. When I said that a year ago, I didn't think I'd be on a bad basketball team. I didn't think it'd ever have anything to do with me, but suddenly I get hurt. Anthony Davis starts limping around, and we're in 6th place headed south, and we might very well have to do this. It's a terrible idea, which, like you just said, this means this was perfect. It is the ideal situation for teams like that. Now, for the Spurs, it's a terrible situation. No, it's actually all of this is because we're sitting here talking about it. The 10th seed is actually a point of conversation in early May. That has never been the case in the history of the NBA. Has the 10th seed ever been a case? And the reason I can say that without hesitation is for most years we've already been in the playoffs. But
this is true. But this late into the season, this late into the NBA calendar, I mean, and again, I don't know that anybody is overly worried about who's going to come out of the West in the 10th seed. But when you look at what the Wizards have done lately, the Wizards as the 10th seed in the Eastern Conference, they could actually get in there and make a little bit of noise. I just find it interesting that LeBron now wants somebody fired for coming up with this play-in tournament.
Well, it doesn't matter at the end of the day if I'm not, 100% close to 100%. It don't matter,
where we land, so, that's my mindset. And, if this happens to, we end up at 6th or 5th or whatever the case may be, or if we end up in the playoff, whatever that thing is, whoever came up with that need to be fired. But whatever. You
did, LeBron. You talked about it on the podcast with RJ, and the commissioner said, "Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. Let's do this." It is interesting though, because and he's right. If he ain't 100%, the Lakers aren't going to win a title, and that's all they care about. It's not about them getting into the playoffs. It's about them winning championships. They are tied with Portland right now and Dallas 5, 6, and 7. They're all knotted up there. It's amazing that we didn't think about a team like the Lakers falling all the way down to this spot, or where Dallas has been able to climb up into the standings now at the 5th.
Yeah, be careful of that most disappointing team, Jason. Dallas seems to be finding their depth as the season closes. So, yeah, and as we watch the Lakers continue to plummet, once health arrives, you're going to be fine. The Lakers are still, when fully healthy, which I'm not sure they'll actually see, the best team. And we talked about this a couple of weeks back, that if LeBron did manage to get the Lakers healthy, play through the bottom round of the playoffs, which we knew was coming when they were injured, when he and Anthony Davis were injured, and managed to get by the likes of the Jazz and the Joker, who's going to get an MVP this year, and Dollar Dame continuing, and Phoenix and and Monty and the resurgence under Chris Paul, and then they took on the East Coast, whether it was the triple-headed threat there in Brooklyn, or it's the Freak, or they're getting Philly, or maybe Jason Tatum carries his 60 versus whatever it might be. This would be the biggest accomplishment of LeBron's career, because there's a bunch of super teams that you've got to go through now. But now, sitting where they are and having that extra play in and more miles on those tires and all the things that go into this, and then you got the Olympics around the corner that you might need to be prepping for because Pop's calling you in the afternoon. This is going to be tough. And I think LeBron realizes it and thinks about the situation that he's in after all that he's advocated for, because he's not normally with the common folk. Normally, he's flying into the playoffs up there in business class, there in that first class where he gets a hot towel as soon as he sits down, and teams like the Spurs are in the back getting peanuts, getting a small room at the Disney World, getting out quick. He's not used to being at the Motel 6 of the playoffs. Welcome to the party, LeBron. I still think they're in great stead. I still think it's possible. And if he manages to do it now, I think the accomplishment would be that much more important. Well, and again, of where they had to come from.
When you look at it, you got Phoenix and Utah tied for first. That's what scares me with the Spurs right now hanging on to 10. And you're right. I thought that they kind of wrapped up 10 with that win over New Orleans, but New Orleans has won a couple. They've got Golden State tonight in this Marvel game that has some excited and some going, what the hell is that? One would be Pledger, one would be me. You can figure it out. But you wonder, can New Orleans make a run here? But in reality, the best the Lakers can hope for at this point is the 5th seed. They got no chance of getting up to the 4th seed, but they could easily drop into the 7th seed. And now they got a dude in the protocols. I saw on Twitter, I guess we finally found a shot that Schroeder won't take, because now he's in the protocols for 2 weeks. But yeah, I mean, the Lakers, the defending champs in the play-in tournament, which is exactly what Adam Silver wants. It's exactly what the NBA needs. Extra games, Golden State in there, and another way to get Steph Curry on TV, Spurs in there. I mean, you never know what happens, but, I don't think the Lakers, if they can get healthy, are worried about where they finish. It's what are the matchups going to be?
Well, as long as the Pelicans have Captain America, I don't think the Spurs have much of a shot. Can you actually carry that sword or that shield onto the court? Reason I bring that up tonight, interesting game. The NBA, I've been reading about this for weeks. I really didn't quite understand it, quite frankly, today.
I still don't understand
this amalgam of basketball and cartoon, this Space Jam feeling thing, but it's really LeBron and the Game of Thrones, and there's points that are going to be around, and different NBA types have been assigned Marvel character.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They're going to give away some kind of Marvel award by your hero points. Sure, man, I'm in. Do I get to gamble on it?
Well, of course you can gamble on it.
I'd like to think I could lay a few pennies down.
I'm sure that there is some place for you to throw a little scratch on this game tonight. They're trying to make things interesting. Is this akin to Pledge and help me to when Nickelodeon did the or when we had the Nickelodeon football game? Are they going to do weird stuff when there's like a slam dunk? Is there going to be exploding baskets and slime on the court?
Well, I doubt it, but I wouldn't put anything past this. I'm sure there's going to be some fancy new graphics and characters dressed up as superheroes.
Just another day in Pledge's life, quite frankly. There'll be
Are you going to wear your Thor helmet, Pledger?
I just might. I don't know. I was going to put the Infinity Gauntlet on for it, but we'll have to see.
Oh, what?
We don't want to know, man.
That's something you do on Saturday.
The Infinity Gauntlet is one of those sub-context kind of things. You don't want to dive down that hole. You don't want to head that direction, man. It starts to get a little odd.
Sounds like one of those weird conventions in Vegas. Look, you put on it. What is that, Pledge? The fact that you have that handy.
It's my Thor helmet.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, you have. If there's ever been a reason to watch us live, you have got to find a device and pull over now. Go to ESPNSA.com or whatever device you freely choose, and you can see Pledge wearing. It looks like a Thor helmet. Yes, it is indeed a Thor helmet. Sitting, he's been alone too long, man. He's like that guy in a spaceship that's headed to Mars alone, and after a while, things start to get weird. He's talking to the microphones and other people like they're there. I think he's finally hit it. Why not, James Pledger? Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Why not? And coming back, we'll look at the NFL draft and its completion. The Cowboys land steady on the defensive side of the ball. We'll look at winners and losers in our minds across the rest of the league. John Machota will join us very quickly thereafter. We'll look directly at the Spurs Jazz as well and talk a lot about Aaron Rodgers and the theme of the NFL as we head toward OTAs in here just in a couple of weeks. Lots of talk headed your direction. Got an hour and a half of fun, so hang where you are. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, you've been put in charge of getting shirts, your logo on any kind of gear, you know you need to get into Sammy's Embroidery Club over there on San Pedro. You can get your logo on shirts, on jackets, on caps, golf hats, golf shirts, professional long sleeve shirts. As your offices are opening up, you need good professional look around the office. You could do that. You need uniforms. Boy, no better place to go than Sammy's Embroidery Club. He has over 700 uniform lines to choose from. Nobody has better prices. Sam has all the big name brands and is the only company in Texas that offers one-day turnaround. No order too small, certainly no order too big. Check the website, samsembroidery.com, or better yet, go into that massive showroom there on San Pedro. It's a mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's. All items do come with a warranty, and you're going to work with Sammy on your project. He's the owner, and he's by his phone right now waiting on your call. 210-824-3900. 824-3900 for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
The Dallas Cowboys address the defense in the draft. What do you think of the Cowboys draft?
What does Riddick continue to say? You build your team inside out from front to back. And I'll stick with it. The future of the Cowboys, if they can pull two starters, then this will be a success. Everything that they have worked for this long, weird year will have been a success.
How will Dan Quinn's defense look?
You're shoring up a run defense that was awful last year.
The Blitz, weekdays 4 to 7. For everything Dallas Cowboys. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Injuries happen. If you twist, pull, pump, or snap something, you need to know about the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. From a minor sprain to a compound fracture, TSAOG has got you covered. Not all injuries require surgery. Dr. David Espinosa treats all non-operative orthopedic injuries and concussion baseline testing. Telemedicine services are available through Ortho Connect. If you're hurting, go to the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Online, TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome. Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy. And unfortunately, you believed them. But now you know none of that was true. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. In the past 10 years, I've helped over 13,000 families get rid of their timeshare permanently with a 98% success rate. If I tell you we can help, we can. That's why I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit, 800-981-4455. That's 800-981-4455. 800-981-4455.
Your home for everything Cowboys.
Touchdown, Cowboys!
1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM. KZDC San Antonio. Jason Minutes, Rob Thompson, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. On the go at ESPNSA.com. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't mind your breakouts. We'll get you home. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson, broadcasting live from our respective casas. James Pleasure is locked in the mothership on the way to Mars, all alone, talking to ghosts. This hour, we'll have John Machota here in just a couple of moments from The Athletic, looking at the Cowboys draft. We'll talk more Spurs and prep for the Utah Jazz and look at the Aaron Rodgers situation and how that trickle-down effect will affect the league for the foreseeable future, he along with Deshaun Watson. But first, pre-draft is always fun because everybody has their opinion. But at the end of the day, Jason, we all have our opinions on specific players. But for the most part, I think reasonable minds agree what every team needs, right? I mean, you can look at every team, whether you're a Cowboy fan or not, and go, well, it's going to have to be the defense, right? I mean,
yeah.
Let's not kid ourselves. And those that are in search of a quarterback or whatever it might be, that all makes sense. Now it's the quibbling about, well, you didn't get the right guy. You got the right position, but you didn't get the right guy. Was there any team out there that you followed through the draft that at the end of the draft you go, I don't know what your plan was. You got some guys. I don't know if you filled a single hole. Was there any absolute loser in the draft?
Quite frankly, it's hard to say any real loser, but I don't know what the Raiders are doing, and I wasn't sure what the Rams were doing. Now, granted, the Rams, they had that beautiful house set up, and then the GM couldn't go, and the party wasn't quite the same. It was a little bit different, but I don't know what John Gruden and Mayock are doing there with the Raiders. I really don't.
You're talking about the team that traded Khalil Mack a couple years ago? That team? Yeah, you're not sure what they're doing?
Yep,
okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mayock, the reason I appreciate Mayock is he knows, and sometimes I think intentionally goes against the grain. I think there's something about once he landed with the Raiders, like he knows what everybody's saying, like, yeah, I'll show you. We're doing it the Raider way, baby. Just win. And Again, I don't know enough about what their needs were. It was a random draft in my mind. But, the Raiders are closer than a lot of teams. They got a quarterback. They got a hell of a tight end. We'll put them on the negative list. What do you think of the Green Bay Packers in the grand scheme of things with their draft? And let's pretend that they're right and that Aaron Rodgers will be their quarterback next year. And if they drafted to that, what would you call the Green Bay Packers draft?
Did they take a wide receiver in the first round? No.
No.
Did they take a wide receiver with the last name of Rodgers? Yes. But again, though, They got a center, I believe, in the second round. I'm googling their
yeah. I mean, just
all,
but
all
you,
their
you
picks,
felt
right?
like
It was
they
a center in the second
adjust.
round.
They didn't
No.
adjust their draft to anything Rodgers said. They didn't adjust their draft to anything they did last year when they completely ruined their franchise by drafting Love. They just plowed forward as if.
Just say completely ruined their franchise. They were in the NFC Championship game last year with the MVP.
Well, see, okay, isn't that an interesting argument? That they made an MVP and they got to the NFC Championship, yet Aaron doesn't feel he's being taken care of. And they continue to do what they did.
Aaron Rodgers is the present. He's not the future. And the Green Bay Packers are preparing for that. Whether, Aaron Rodgers is turning into the Kevin Durant of the NBA. Dude, you got everything. Why aren't you happier? You know what I mean?
True.
It's there's just something to it. I mean, Warren Moon blasted Aaron Rodgers yesterday on ESPN radio. And again, you were the MVP. You show up at the Kentucky Derby after your team let it out on draft day that you weren't coming back. You have a name tag at the Kentucky Derby that says Turd Thompson, which was just classic.
It's Turd Ferguson. Get it right.
Oh, Turd Ferguson, right? Whatever. Because isn't that what they used to call their GM up there?
No, it's a Jeopardy inside joke. The SNL Celebrity Jeopardy, Norm Macdowell played a character.
All right. Well, I thought it was more about, because then they used to call Turd Thompson, the GM there, Turd instead of Ted, which he wasn't a fan of that dude either. And then he refuses to do the interview on NBC with Mike Tirico at the Kentucky Derby. He's got teammates tweeting out stuff that make it seem like he ain't coming back, and that's what he's told them. I ain't coming back. But the Packers keep saying, we ain't trading you. You're wasting time calling us. Don't spend time putting stuff together. It's the offseason story, which the NFL every year has an incredible offseason story. The last couple of years, it's, will Dak get a deal? And that's been the national story. This year, I thought it was all going to be Deshaun Watson, and where does he end up? And now you can add Aaron Rodgers to that mix, because the same teams that are going to be in line for Deshaun are going to be in line trying to work deals with Aaron Rodgers. And the question is, which one is a better deal? I mean, you know what you've got with Aaron Rodgers in a league MVP, but you got a guy that's also pushing 40 versus a guy with 22 lawsuits that's, 25, 26 years old, if that.
If you can get Aaron Rodgers, you go get Aaron Rodgers and you mortgage everything you've got to go get him. There's just no question. There's 25 teams that in their due diligence have to make the call. There's 7 teams doesn't need to do anything. There are 25 that if you don't make that call, and I'm telling you, the Cowboys are one of them. If you don't make that call, you're crazy. You're crazy. You're just not doing your job, because, as we always will joke, you never know if there is a Bill or Jim or an O'Brien answering the phone. You never know what they're. You got to make the offer, man, because somebody might actually say, yes. Okay, I'll send you the confirmation letter right now. Yes, David Johnson. We got this right. David Johnson for DM. Okay, you've got to make that deal. But you brought up, again, this is a team that made it to the NFC Championship game. They had the MVP. They were right there, and this guy is still complaining. You brought up Warren Moon. I kind of agree a little bit with what Warren's saying. Just because you think it's good for you doesn't mean it's good for the team. You're close, man. Let them work their plan. You were an MVP on an NFC Championship team, and you won out because you're not getting the help.
You know, it's crazy because they've been in 2 straight NFC Championship games. I mean, They've been that close. I think about Jim Kelly and that group that went to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost. Do you realize how hard it is to get to a Super Bowl, let alone 4 straight? And finally, you know, where they were always the joke for so many years, the accolades come in for that group in a great 30 for 30 and the attention that talks about it. What Aaron Rodgers has been able to do in Green Bay is pretty incredible. But don't you look at Aaron Rodgers and go, how does that guy only have 1 ring?
He got a ring!
But only 1.
You got one.
He only got one. Only one.
Oh, poor bastard. That poor son of a gun. Only got one NFL championship. Only
Eli's
one.
got 2. Think about that.
Eli's got 2. You've only got 1. You deserve to go someplace. I'd hate falling on that side of get off my lawn. I do believe that players do need to be empowered, but you've been empowered, my brother. Warren Moon, those guys went through a lot more than Aaron ever has. So I could certainly understand their situation because they were chained and blocked, or all the stuff, chained from the league, blocked from the league, not able to do stuff. And they look at Aaron Rodgers crying about, I'm only the MVP and you're not helping me. I was in the NFC Championship. You didn't give me enough. I can see why Warren is upset. I can also see why he's going to end up being a Green Bay Packer at the end of this, because I think it's about the money. I really do. I think at the end of the day, once Green Bay adds another 0 to that check, everything going to be happy again.
Well, I mean, that's it. If he gets a contract in line with, say, what Dak has, do you think that makes everything better? Or is Aaron Rodgers at the point with what he has in his bank that what's he making this year? $32 million? Who walks away from $32 million? But Aaron Rodgers has been doing this for so long. If it ain't about the money, there's nothing Green Bay can do to fix it. On the screen right now on ESPN, they're talking about it. And the quote from the GM, I'm paraphrasing, is they're doing everything they can to fix the relationship. They don't think that it's irreconcilable. They think they're going to be able to mend the fences. That's his belief and the belief of the organization. But will money fix this? Will money fix this if you're the Green Bay Packers?
If you're Turd Ferguson, you sign the deal. When we come back, John Machado, the Athletic's going to join us. We'll look very closely at the Cowboys draft and what needs to happen next. Is there a safety to be found in the cushions? Are they going to charge on without one? We're kind of used to that. After that, we're talking Spurs. And again, we'll get back to the Aaron Rodgers stuff. We got so much to get into and so little time. Don't forget, we're out early for the Rangers. They're taking on the Twins tonight. Brought to you by New Breaks of Texas. Coming up, John Machado here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Jason Minix here for my friends over at Alamo Water Softeners. I've had a water softener in my home from Alamo Water Softeners for about a decade. Wouldn't live without one. And with Alamo Water Softeners, you're going to be working with a great locally owned, family-run business by the Townsends, and they're great to work with. In fact, they were voted a 2020 neighborhood favorite on the Nextdoor app. And in San Antonio, we have some of the hardest water in the country. And while we can't control the quality of the water that comes to your house, you can control the quality that comes through it. You don't want to wait until you suspect something is wrong with your water to call Alamo Water Softeners. Some chemicals and contaminants are undetectable. Let Alamo Water Softeners come out to your house, give you a free estimate and a free water analysis. So they'll test your water, give you a free estimate to make sure you're getting a system that is right for you and your family. Alamo Water Softeners provides the best value for the highest quality water treatment. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Go to alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com.
We get you ready for every single silver and black game on Game Night San Antonio. Brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom.
This is DeJounte Murray.
Get the latest on the silver and black before every game.
It's Game Night San Antonio.
1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Jason Minix here for Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram Truck, part of the Ancira I-10 Auto Complex. If you're shopping for a new vehicle, there's no better place to go than Ancira. I can tell you firsthand because I am a longtime Ancira customer. Through the years, I've bought many vehicles from Ancira, including one that I have now. My daughter's car is from Ancira, so is my niece's car. Half the people at the radio station drive Ancira vehicles, and it's because of how well Ancira takes care of you before, during, and most importantly, after the sale. That great customer service is why Ancira has been a top family-run dealership in San Antonio for decades. They're going to make sure you're getting the vehicle you want with all the options and features that you're looking for. They'll give you great value on your trade-in, the best rebates and financing options that are available. And price made Ancira number one. Price keeps Ancira number one. So think Ancira. Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram Truck, part of the Ancira I-10 Auto Complex on I-10 West between Wurzbach and Huebner. Looking for a protein-packed snack to power you through the day? Of course you are. Only Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds have the bold flavors that stand out in the Me Too snack aisle. Sea salt and cracked black pepper, pineapple ancho chili, pasilla chili cheese, and more. Take your snacking to higher flavor levels with Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. And keto fans, you're going to love this low-carb crunch. Visit your local H-E-B and southernrecipesmallbatch.com to see the power of the rind.
I'm with Jason Thompson, owner of the Thompson Law Firm. Jason, if someone's in a serious collision, what should they do?
Call me as soon as possible after the collision. If a bad driver, a drunk driver, a driver of a commercial or company vehicle crashes into you or a family member, the most important decision you will make for yourself and your family is choosing the right lawyer. You should know that the insurance companies already have their own attorneys, and you should too. If you or a family member has been seriously injured in a traffic collision, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My phone number is 900-0400, or just remember my website, alawyerforus.com. I practice law right here in San Antonio for more than 20 years, helping people and families just like yours. I believe you and your family need an attorney who is honest, loyal, experienced, professional, someone you would be proud to call your lawyer.
Your lawyer, Jason Thompson, named one of San Antonio's best personal injury attorneys and a Texas super lawyer. Call Jason Thompson, a lawyer for us. 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or go to alawyerforus.com.
Dinner just got a whole lot easier. Forget about grocery store crowds or figuring out what's in the fridge with HelloFresh. You just choose from over 25 chef-created recipes every week. Then you get a HelloFresh box at your doorstep filled with fresh, pre-portioned ingredients that in as little as 20 minutes become restaurant-quality meals. And giving yourself a break is back on the table. Go to HelloFresh.com/BART12 and use code BART12 and get 12 free meals, including free shipping. That's code BART12 at HelloFresh.com/BART12.
We're all ready for spring. Now's the time to get ready for spring projects with help from the Home Depot. Install a brand new faucet, lay down fresh new flooring, roll on a bright new coat of paint. Need to figure square footage or paint coverage? Our project calculators will do the math. Do it all from our app and get delivery right to your door. Download our mobile app to get started. Bring on spring with innovative help from the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
It is the Blitz. You're on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. Well, it's all over and done with. The draft is done. Now you can start culling the cracks in the seats for those UFAs, but those are even falling through. Let's look at where the Cowboys sit today from one of the experts. John Machoni of The Athletic joins us here on ESPN San Antonio. Welcome aboard, John. How's your weekend?
It's going well. Catching up on some sleep, but it's good fun. I look forward to the draft every year, so I can't say this one was any better or any worse than previous ones. I enjoyed it.
Well, and again, when you look at the draft, we really won't know for a couple of years how well they did. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of draft grades, but, it's always fun to dive in and see what people thought of. And the Cowboys draft grades are kind of all over the board. Ultimately, what did you think of their draft when you think about drafting best player available versus drafting need?
Yeah, it was interesting because last year, everything kind of just fell to them, particularly in the first three rounds. Well, even beyond that, really, even Biotish and Bradley and I thought were really good values where they got him at. And this year, it's hard for me to sit here and say that a wrench wasn't thrown into their plans when back-to-back corners went off the board before they picked at 10. And they can sit there and say that they were prepared for it and whatever else, but I find it hard to believe that they didn't think they were getting one of those corners, whether it be J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain at 10. And so to not get one of those guys, now you get Micah Parsons, and I like the player. And as long as there's no off the field issues or anything like that, and he comes into camp and everything goes well, I think that he's a guy that if he stays healthy, probably will be one of their best defensive players and have a chance to be their best defensive player in the next few years. So I understand the move there. But then because of the trickle down from that, you could tell they were going out of their way to definitely get a corner in the second round. And they get Kelvin Joseph, who's a guy who has some off the field concerns that the Cowboys looked into and said that, they did their due diligence and they feel comfortable that he's matured. And so, but there are those concerns. And so all of a sudden you have some, even though they're not the same, different things like that with your first 2 picks. So there's always going to be a little bit of caution whenever you hear things like that. So that's going to factor in, because when you read things like Dane Brugler saying Kelvin Joseph is basically like a first round talent, but the reason he's in the second round is because of the off the field concerns, that's a little bit alarming. So I think that I mentioned those 2 because I think that's what this whole draft comes down to. If you get some good production out of those 2, then it'll end up being a really good draft. In terms of a grade, as of right now, I probably would give them about a B. Last year's I thought was a no doubt A at this time right after it, but this one, there were a couple picks that maybe left you scratching your head a little bit.
John Machado of The Athletic sitting with us here on ESPN San Antonio looking at the Cowboys draft. A couple things, as they watched those quarterbacks, get snatched in front of their eyes, right in front of them. And they watched a safety go a couple of days later, right in front of their eyes or the next day. And they didn't react by, jumping and moving and trading. Is that a change in the mindset of the Cowboys, or was it going to be plan your work your plan unless something ridiculous comes along? We're going to have a BPA just about at every draft.
I think what it came down to is that there wasn't a player that was in the vicinity of them trading up that they were absolutely in love with. Because last year, that kind of happened when Tyler Biadasz started falling. Then all of a sudden they were ready to package some picks together to go up and get him because they looked at him as being their potential center of the future, and it looks like that's what's going to be. I mean, he looks like he'll be their starting center this year and should be their starting center for the foreseeable future. And so I don't know that there was anybody there that was right in front of them that they absolutely loved, they were willing to trade up for, because for instance, if they wanted one of those corners, you're going to have to trade up to, 6 or 7. And to do that, you're going to have to basically pay like you're trying to trade up for a quarterback and give up like a future first type stuff. And they weren't that interested in the corners. And then when you get to the second round with Traven Morig from TCU, like they liked him. He was the guy that they talked to before the draft, but he wasn't enough for them to like want to trade up when those safeties started coming off the board. And actually, even if the Raiders didn't take him, they weren't taking him over Kelvin Joseph because they felt a bigger need at corner than they did at safety, and specifically a big corner that could start on the outside opposite Trayvon Diggs. And see, that's the other thing you have to remember when you look at the way their board goes, is that it's not like they're just sitting there and they have these players listed 1 through 300, and they're like, well, whoever the next guy is on the board, we're taking that guy. It's also about need too. I mean, for example, late in that third round, they take the cornerback Nashawn Wright, and Jabril Cox had a higher grade on their board, but they had already taken a linebacker in the first round. Now they were lucky enough that Jabril Cox was there at the top of the fourth, and so that worked out in their favor. But I just don't think there was a player that they loved enough throughout that process that was going to make them package some picks together to move up.
It's interesting, John, and you've got on The Athletic now kind of a projected starting lineup of people go to The Athletic and read it, and you've got Kelvin Joseph as a potential week 1 starter. And you look at Wright, I thought they drafted maybe a round too soon, but then they make up for it with, probably their best value pick of the draft was Jabril Cox. But we got to hear from Dan Quinn really for the first time since he became the defensive coordinator. And, certainly he had a lot of influence on this year's draft, probably more so than any other new coordinator that I could remember in a long time. When he talked about the players that were already here, plus what was drafted over the weekend, what was your biggest takeaway from the kind of defense that we're going to see from Dan Quinn, aside from what we already expect, but just hearing it come from him?
Well, certainly his, even without him talking, the actions speak louder than words. And the actions were they clearly put a bigger value on big corners, more so than other guys that, draft experts might have had graded a little bit higher. And Wright is obviously the perfect example of that. They just put a high value on that they wanted the length, they wanted the height. And because of that, you could tell that they valued those guys on their board a little bit higher than probably some other teams valued those guys. I think that's one thing that stood out. The other thing to me was, so we didn't get to talk to Dan Quinn until, this past weekend for the first time since he's become defensive coordinator. And when he first got hired in January, he did an interview with Pro Football Focus on their podcast. And I thought it was interesting that he said, like, all he was working on at that time is he wanted to watch all of these players on the Cowboys that are on contract, on the roster, he wanted to watch them all and see what he had there. So that's January. So certainly he has had plenty of time to watch everybody. And you look at what they've done in free agency, biggest free agency move, they went and got Keanu Neal, and they've made it clear the entire time he's playing linebacker. What's the biggest move they made in the draft? They go and get Micah Parsons. So what does that tell you about what he thought of those linebackers when he watched them? And I just find that it's just very interesting to me, because this is 2 years ago, you would have said that that's probably the strength of the defense, because you had Sean Lee, you had Leighton, you had Jalen Smith, and the fact that he watched that defense and they've come away with what they've come away with, and then taking Jabril Cox in the 4th round, it speaks volumes to what they think about those linebackers they have on the roster. And one other thing, even though this skips over to the offense, I wanted to mention on that same premise, as much as Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones talked about how good they felt about Tyron Smith and Lyle Collins on offense because of their health, that hey, we feel good about them, whatever. Well, I knew the actions were going to speak louder than the words, and their actions said that they do feel good about them, because there was multiple chances that they could have taken offensive linemen in the 2nd round, in the 3rd round, and they didn't. And so that backed up that they must really feel good about Tyron Smith and Lyle Collins.
John Machota right here on ESPN San Antonio. You don't have to find that knowledge just anywhere. You got to go to The Athletic and read it. That's what John does. A couple things about all the linebackers. Certainly a reflection of what the kind of defenses we've seen in the past. But how many linebackers you see are going to be on the roster next year? we know that LVE will be around, though they're not going to pick up the 5th. And really the question is going to be Jalen. Will we see him after June 1?
It is interesting, because it is the position group that, as the NFL evolves, you're starting to see less and less of. They're taking more linebackers off the field, and especially as you get into your dime packages, which teams are playing more and more of, and certainly in nickel, you're only having 2 guys out on the field. And it seems like they have about 5 or 6 here now. But no, it's going to be interesting, because, as of today, the Cowboys made it, official. They're not exercising a 5th-year option on Leighton Vander Esch's contract. And so that basically is showing you that they want to see Leighton stay healthy. Now, if Leighton Vander Esch stays healthy and has a good year, he's going to get opportunities. If he stays healthy, they're going to keep him on this roster. They're going to find a way. Now, they're not going to make him one of the highest paid linebackers in football, but if he's willing to take some type of a team-friendly type deal, they're going to try and keep Leighton Vander Esch around. The Micah Parsons and Jabril Cox picks are interesting to me from the Jalen Smith standpoint of Jalen Smith is going to be on this roster for this year, no doubt. But if he doesn't perform at a high enough level, I certainly think he could be expendable next offseason. And one in particular thing that I found interesting about the drafting of Jabril Cox is that his greatest strength is what he does as in the passing game, as defending against tight ends, running backs coming out of the backfield, third and long, passing situations. And so I'm thinking, well, they're going to get him on the field in those situations. And Jalen Smith isn't great in those situations. So it's one of those things where, if you're Jalen Smith, like, you got to be looking at the possibility that you're not going to be on the field nearly as much as you have been in these past years. And I'm interested to see how that sits with him. And I'm interested to see the way this entire dynamic works, because you also got to mix in Keanu Neal, who he didn't come over here to just kind of sit on the bench. And he's a Dan Quinn guy. Like, they're going to find snaps for him too. So the competition's great because the position's been weak the last 2 years, but it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of all sorts itself out.
John, when you think about the draft and what they didn't take, I was surprised they didn't take a safety. I was also a little surprised that they didn't take a quarterback in the 6th or 7th round. I can't believe we're going to go into another season with Ben DiNucci on the roster.
Yeah, I think with both those positions, I think it speaks to kind of what was available in the draft. That's the one thing about the draft, is it's not like it's equal at every position where there's going to be a set number of guys. And I just feel like after a certain couple of players went off the board, of all the quarterbacks that were in this draft, I would say the one that I've watched the most, well, I've watched Trevor Lawrence the most, but second's probably Ian Book. And I was stunned that he went in the 4th round. And I'm sure there's A&M fans that might've been a little stunned to where Kellen Mond went, but it's kind of like when those guys started going off the board, and if you weren't in that area when they were coming off the board, same thing as safety. If you weren't there in that early 2nd round, when Javon Holland came off the board, when Richie Grant came off the board, like, you were kind of out of the mix. The only other safety that was up there that I think they talked to outside of those 3 was Andre Cisco from Syracuse, and he was picked right at the top of the 3rd round. So they didn't like him more than taking Kelvin Joseph, so they weren't going to reach there. So I think that the way they look at it is the guys that they really felt like could come in and potentially be starting caliber safety were already off the board before they had a chance to take any of them. But it also speaks volumes. I mean, you look at the safety position on this roster, it's clearly the weakest position. I mean, there is just opportunity for anybody that can even, be solid and stay healthy, and you're going to play on that back end of that defense. And so, hey, maybe when other teams trim the rosters down, maybe they find a way to add another veteran, or maybe they do a trade or something with, trade away a future draft pick or something for a safety off another team's roster or something. But I mean, yeah, they came out of that draft where I thought that they would certainly address it within their, the first 4 rounds. And the fact that they really didn't, that's probably the biggest glaring miss out of this draft class for them.
Is the talent acquiring done, John, or do you see maybe a free agent or two? And I'm just spitballing here. Richard Sherman, are they done getting everything they need?
I really would be surprised if Richard Sherman came to the Cowboys. And it's not even just the football stuff. I've always thought, just because of some of the jabs he's taken publicly at Jerry Jones on things, I've always thought that probably isn't a great mix. And then also the fact that you're going to have to pay Richard Sherman. And now you're not going to make him like the highest paid corner or one of the highest, but like you're going to pay him a little bit better than just your average rookie. And I don't see the Cowboys even doing that. And that's one of the reasons that they made all 11 draft picks, because they're really trying to get their cap together now that they've paid Dak Prescott, and they're trying to find a lot of bargains. And I just don't think Richard Sherman is going to be a bargain. The one area where they could, though, and I think that they will, is that backup quarterback. And you guys mentioned that on the previous question. I didn't really answer your question, but I do think that's one area right there, because they didn't address that. I don't know how they're going to do it. I didn't know that they were going to get Andy Dalton last year at this time, So I don't know how exactly it's going to happen. Maybe they wait till training camp, and when rosters are trimmed down, maybe they do some type of, like I said, like a late round pick in the future. They trade for a quarterback that's not going to get any playing time on their team. I don't know how they do it, but I just really find it hard to believe that Garrett Gilbert's going to be the backup quarterback week 1. So I don't know how they'll go about it, but I think that they're going to have another veteran on the team. And it's really, to be honest with you, it's nothing against Garrett Gilbert. It's just the fact that you have Dak Prescott coming off of a major injury, and this is certainly a team in a win now mode. Like, I just don't see them going with a guy that only has one other start in his NFL career as the backup there. I just don't see that happening. So, hey, who knows? Maybe they find a way to get Nick Foles from the Bears or something like that. But that would be an interesting story. But
hey,
let's not do this again.
And we have Deshaun Wright, who, in his words, a more athletic, agile Richard Sherman. So we don't need Richard Sherman. You've got Deshaun Wright.
Yeah, honestly, if they wouldn't have got a corner in the second round, because they would have got wiped out that position, then I think that maybe you could speak a little bit more to the chances on the Richard Sherman thing. But the fact that they got Joseph now, and they feel good about Anthony Brown and Jordan Lewis and Trayvon Diggs. So if they would have missed out on corner there early on, maybe that's the case. But it's just like they have so many between Wright and like, let's not forget about Reggie Robinson that they drafted last year in the 4th round, who's a guy that, Will McClay loved Reggie Robinson out of that draft, and he just never got a chance to play. And he certainly fits the bill of what Dan Quinn wants. He's another tall corner. So he's going to be in the mix too. They still have Maurice Kennedy. Like, there's going to be some who didn't play last year who opted out. Like, there's going to be some guys there at corner, and as long as that they stay relatively healthy at the position, I think they're sticking with what they got.
Real quickly, John, which of the other NFC East teams improved themselves the most? Was it the Giants?
I really like the Eagles draft, I guess, but yeah, maybe the Giants. It's tough to say. Like, I would say it'd be one of those two. I do like, if I was an Eagles fan, I'd be pumped about getting Devontae Smith, especially trading within the division. But I felt like he was going to somebody in the division anyway. But again, with both those teams, though, and Washington too, you can improve yourself. But at this game, I really feel for the most part comes down to quarterback position.
Doesn't it feel like Smith is just going to destroy the Cowboys twice a year? I mean, I'd rather him be in Philadelphia than with the New York Giants teaming up with Jones and Barkley. But you just kind of feel like you traded away the ability for Philadelphia to get that wide receiver who's just going to torch the Cowboys twice a year because, they don't have the secondary that can cover them.
No, I mean, that's a possibility. I would say this. I just have a little bit of wonder. I wonder a little bit about if they got the guy that's going to give them the ball, though, at quarterback. So, I mean, there's still some things there that they have to iron out. I kind of thought that they, would anybody have been really that surprised if they would have taken Justin Fields there? I mean, I don't think that their quarterback position is just completely locked up where you're like, yeah, we don't even have to worry about that. But Yeah, no, you know what I like? I'm pretty sure they got that Marlon Tuiapulotu from USC, the defensive tackle. I think they got him pretty late. So I don't know. I'm going to lean with the Eagles. I think that they probably improved the most, but then again, they're also the only team in the division that's going to have a first-year head coach. So I still think the division will be very similar last year. Will be kind of wide open, but there's nothing that's happened in free agency or the draft that makes me change my mind. I'm thinking as long as Dak's healthy and Tyron and Lyle are healthy, the Cowboys have to win this division. There's really no excuses.
John Machota of The Athletic right here on ESPN San Antonio. Yeah, Philadelphia, they're by far the best rock, paper, scissors organization I have ever seen. Those guys compete at that game. Thanks for all the knowledge, John. We appreciate your time.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
He's John Machota of The Athletic. If you're not reading it, you're not into the Cowboys, are you now? Go check it out. Hey, coming back, we got some Spurs heading your direction. Aaron Rodgers lobs hand grenades, and Jill Jelnick joins us for Game Night San Antonio at 6 o'clock, brought to you by Mellow Mushroom. We're getting ready for the Jazz tonight. Hey, coming back, Spurs get another opportunity. We'll talk about it next. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com. How hot did it get today? What is it, 95, 96 degrees? I'll tell you what, summer is here, my friends, and if you don't have an air conditioning guy, you better put one in your phone right now, and I have the best one possible for you. Service First Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Had them out to my home the other day. First of all, talking about professional, cleanly, and very knowledgeable, took care of my problems and talked about things that I can do to keep him from coming back, quite frankly. Service First AC and Plumbing. They do commercial. They do residential work. They're the fastest service same-day calls you're going to be able to find here in San Antonio. But I want you to take a preemptive step because this is San Antonio. It's hot. It's only May, and it's only going to get hotter. If your AC goes down, if your plumbing goes down, who are you going to call? Well, I know who you're going to call. You've got a guy in the business. Service First AC and Plumbing. Grab your phone right now. I want you to go ahead and put this number in, 210-521-1500. 210-521-1500. When you put that in your phone, you know when you make that call, you'll be calling a family-owned and operated company, local business here in San Antonio for 14 years plus. Fast, reliable, proactive, and more importantly, absolutely trustworthy. They specialize in emergency AC and plumbing issues. So when it goes down, you know you've got help just around the corner. Put it in your phone now, 210-521-1500. Go check out their website, Service First ACTX.com. If it's getting hot, it's only getting hotter. What are you going to do when your office or your home AC goes down? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to call Service First AC and Plumbing right now, and then you're going to thank me later.
Hoops and Hype, the post-up with Brendan Medina and Jack Thompson, a basketball anthology. The culture from the court to kicks for the discerning fan. The post-up, Fridays at 7 after the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Sports Center is brought to you by Kielbasa Slow Crafted Sausage, available at your local grocery stores.
I'm Dr. Andrea Russo, a cardiologist. Maybe you're waiting to talk to your doctor right now. But if you're having an irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, don't wait. This could be a serious condition like atrial fibrillation, which can make you about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you're having these symptoms, don't wait. Talk to a doctor by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
After such an extraordinary year, it's time to celebrate the most extraordinary member of the family, Mom. Diamonds Direct invites you to join us as we say cheers to the mothers in our lives. For this Mother's Day, we've put together an exceptional collection of affordable and meaningful gifts for any budget. Birthstone rings, stackable rings, eternity bands, pearls, elegant diamond pendants, and of course, stunning diamond earrings. So cheers to you, Mom, for being such an incredible partner, for learning to be a teacher in the past year, for keeping the family healthy and safe, for always putting everything else first. This year, more than ever, she deserves a gift that's anything but ordinary. And at Diamonds Direct, that's our specialty. Timeless gifts of jewelry that she can enjoy and cherish for decades to come. Why not surprise her with a bigger diamond for her ring? Come let the experts at Diamonds Direct help you find that remarkable gift that says, cheers, Mom, for all your remarkable efforts over the last year. Diamonds Direct, official jeweler of the Dallas Cowboys at the shops at La Cantera.
If your husband kisses the dog with more passion than you, it's time to make a change.
Call the Divorce Dude with Polling Law PLLC. The Divorce Dude will help you get a fast, affordable, agreed divorce. But if you want to fight, the Divorce Dude will fight for you. DivorceDude.com gives you easy legal options and sticks with you every step of the way. Call George, the Divorce Dude, 210-201-0303. That's 210-201-0303 or DivorceDude.com.
Howdy, San Antonio. Chip Ingram from the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, inviting you to come out and enjoy patio season. We have newly remodeled patios, garage doors, and everything else you need to enjoy this great South Texas weather. As always, ice cold beer and specialty drinks. Happy hours daily from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And our kitchen is open from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. See you soon at the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant at 281 and Redland Road.
For the one standing guard, for the eagle-eyed, for the knights in shining armor, and for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The next generation of auto detailing is here. 303 Graphene Nano Spray Coating. Simplicity meets a new level of performance. Get a year of protection from a powerful graphene oxide formula. A formula that sends water flying off paint, wheels, and trim. Go beyond wax, beyond ceramic. Be part of the future of exterior protection with Graphene Nano Spray Coating from 303. Available now at Advance Auto Parts and Pep Boys.
It's the Blitz. You're on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. Hey, if you missed any of John Machota of The Athletic, we just had him on. Great stuff from him looking at the Dallas Cowboy draft. Great insight. Catch up. Go to ESPNSA.com. The audio vault brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Just waiting on you for all things catching up with ESPN San Antonio. While you're there, get yourself entered for our Mother's Day contest. You're running out of time. Mother's Day is this Sunday, and Service First AC and Plumbing wants to help you out. We all know our mom's the best. Prove it. Go to ESPNSA.com. Get yourself signed up. We're giving away $1,000 for Mother's Day, all brought to you by Service First AC and Plumbing. Give Mom the best gift of green squallow. You can make those little bills into flowers. I've seen that actually done. The Spurs get to play the Utah Jazz after. I don't know. We've certainly had bad weekends as Spurs fans. I don't think we've ever had this bad a weekend as a Spur, bookended by two different types of tragic defeats, but defeats nonetheless, as we managed to grasp and grab victory from the jaws of defeat and stick it back in twice. It was just a terrible beatdown. And I feel bad for the guys that had to play because they played well again. That skeleton unit, the backups that stole that Phoenix game a couple of weeks back. They got another opportunity. Gorgie Dang, welcome to the Spurs. We finally get a full outing and a picture of why he was brought in. It certainly was nice. Lonnie participated well beyond just being a sixth man. He was a sixth man by definition. He played that way, brought the offense, brought activity. But a loss at the buzzer again. They get the Jazz tonight. Have we gotten word on the starting lineup? At 6 o'clock, just a couple of minutes, Jill Jelnick of Game Night San Antonio of Sports2Nite is going to join us for Game Night San Antonio. We'll have all your starting lineups. DeMar rested, we hope. Is he ready to go?
Yeah, I believe he's going to be in tonight. The Lyles and White were the only ones on the early injury report, which tells you everybody should be available for the game tonight, you would hope, and rested. But, it's weird, man, because like you said, you played great for a while against Boston, so something to get excited about. You played great against Philadelphia with the skeleton crew. Short-handed guys. They were scrappy, got that thing to overtime. But at the end of the day, it's a loss. Last night's probably, I don't know what sucks more, blowing a 30-point lead or losing at the buzzer in overtime to the best team in the Eastern Conference. I mean, they both suck. I mean, they're both awful ways to lose games. I'd rather just get blown out by 25 and feel like you never had a chance to win. I mean, there's been so many games that way this year where, what do you figure, 10 more wins, 8 more wins that you kind of think the Spurs should have won that game? They were just right there. They just couldn't close it. How many times have we said this year, a winning team figures out how to win that game and the Spurs didn't figure it out? Although I don't know that you could chalk that up to what happened to them this weekend in both instances.
The 76ers game in particular really kind of hurt because not only did they have to rebound after the kick to the nuts that Friday night was. I mean, that'll hurt for months. 32 points up. You let somebody go get 60 on you, and you tried to stop him. It wasn't one of those old school pop, Russell, go score as much as you want in Westbrook kind of games, and we're going to shut everybody else down. We tried to stop Jason Tatum and couldn't. He had 4 or 5 guys in rotation trying to slow him down, and it wasn't going to happen. Last night, it's East Coast swing. You figure the Spurs are 500. They're going to, now they swing to the West Coast. They get 2. And again, I hate these back-to-backs. Not really. They get the Jazz tonight, a night off in beautiful Salt Lake, and then another game against the Jazz to kind of close out that season series. And I would think that the Spurs will be competitive in one of them. I just don't know which one it's going to be. Are they going to rebound quickly after last night, or is Pop going to let them kind of, relax tonight, practice good tomorrow, get a good walkthrough, and really go at them on Wednesday? But I figure, as the Spurs are a 500 team, that they'll go 500 in this little stretch.
Well, I don't know that they'll go 500. I think no matter what they try to do against a Utah team that is trying to get the number 1 seed, they're currently tied with Phoenix. It's not like they're going to get taken lightly. It's, you do wonder when the Sixers saw what the Spurs were rolling out there, that they kind of lose some of the edge for that game until they realized they were in a bit of a fight and really muster up that extra energy. I just look at this stretch for the Spurs and, man, if they can get a win, more power to them. But I'm not expecting one. I'm expecting a couple of losses to the Utah Jazz. I don't even know that they're going to be close. And that's where this team is. If they get one, but for the Spurs, they can't take a night off. I mean, they're trying to get into the play-in tournament.
What are you talking about?
Their
They can't
actions
take a
tell us.
night off. Did you see the starting lineup last night? They can't take a night off.
Well, but that was their night off. I mean, they're not going to take
okay.
and it was against an Eastern Conference team, not against a Western Conference team.
They're a 500 basketball team. They're going to go 500 for the rest of the season. You just kind of see. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to do it. I just don't know if it'll be willful 500. Will it be intentional 500 or accidental 500? Because I think the Spurs are the most unlucky basketball team ever, at least over the last week. Or Pop's genius is such that we think that they're unlucky, but really the plan was all along to let Jason Tatum just get 39 points in the second half and take them to a late overtime win to pad our stats, pad those offensive stats. And then last night, just play good for, 40 minutes, 42, 44 minutes, and a couple of mental errors, and then don't block out one of the best rebounding guards in all of basketball after your center is forced to take a jump shot.
What did they make? 4 shots in overtime? Was it that many? Yeah, it wasn't good. I mean, quick glance at the box score goes, yeah. You did all that work to get to overtime to do nothing with those extra 5 minutes.
Hey, man, it was extra minutes for extra guys. We got Gorgie Dang got some minutes. Luka got to get in and provide. Actually, I feel like
at a time where you don't want to play an extra 5 minutes. If there's a way to cut 5 minutes off the game, Pop would have done it last night for rest purposes.
Well, to give credit where it's due, young guys are playing. They played appropriately, and they go down. The Pelicans continue to chase. The Spurs maintain a 2.5 game lead over them as they hold on to 10th place. We'll look at the rest of the schedule and the Jazz specifically with Jelnick in here in just a couple of minutes. Before we head out, the Aaron Rodgers situation, I think it's going to be the thread that the NFL will follow until we see guys working out in organized practices here in a couple of weeks. We heard from Stink. Mark Schlereth believes that the Broncos are already all in and it's a done deal. Do you believe it's over? Do you believe that the percentages with Aaron Rodgers. What are your percentages of him being a Green Bay Packer next year?
100%. I honestly,
he's gone.
Unless he retires, he's going to be a Green Bay Packer next year. And now, if he retires, all right, but I don't see him playing for another team next year. When nothing got done on draft day, I kind of figured it's post June 1. It's the salary situation. You know, there's so many things involved with the salary that this year, not the year to do it. Next year is a year you're able to do it.
We'll figure it out. I just don't. He's going to be a Green Bay Packer. He ain't going to retire. He's going to get a pay raise. At the end of the day, when they say it's not about the money, it's always about the money. But given the situation with the draft, Green Bay didn't alter anything, man. They're moving forward. Whatever that plan is, it didn't change one iota. And by every measure, they've known that they haven't been getting along. Maybe this is the plan all along, that Aaron was going to leave and they were going to continue doing what they do with Jordan Love or whoever else might end up.
I think Aaron Rodgers is going to retire, host Jeopardy, host The Masked Singer, host the $10 million pyramid. He might even host Wheel of Fortune. Who the hell knows? But that's the only way I see him not being a Packer next year.
Look around the rest of the league next year on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. Whether it's you, a family member, a friend of yours, you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast. The best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go to the website, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option, AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans available, offer a free shuttle service. Of course, they are discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. License number 149. Call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Whether you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, in the Valley, anywhere in between, 210-225-2121 or online, mybestbailbonds.com.
Your home for Texas Rangers baseball.
This is Joey Gallo of the Texas Rangers. Your home for Texas Rangers baseball. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Texas Rangers baseball is brought to you by New Brakes Mobile Brake Repair and powered by GPS of Texas.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Canelo Alvarez, this is a champion in his prime.
Witness Canelo, the pound-for-pound king, face the fearless.
I think we need to get right into this conversation with Canelo's next opponent. That's Billy Joe Saunders.
Can Billy Joe Saunders defeat Canelo?
Canelo versus the undefeated Saunders. Super middleweight unification fight, May 8th, live on DAZN. Download the DAZN app.
There's no plan around. I'm going to go there, get the job done, and come home. That's simple.
It's all about the nose. It's your air filter, the first line of defense against bacteria and viruses. If too many germs get stuck in your nose, guess what? You get sick. That's why it's so important to keep your nose clean, just like washing your hands. Nasal irrigation gets rid of germs by rinsing the nasal cavity, but neti pots are hard to use and, frankly, kind of gross. Now there's a better way to keep your nose clean and help your body protect itself. It's called Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, bacteria, and viruses. Millions use Navage for fast, all-natural relief from sinus congestion and allergies, and to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage is easy to use, affordable, and comes with an absolute guarantee of satisfaction. You wash your hands and brush your teeth every day. Now it's time to start cleaning your nose with Navage. At Navage.com, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath, Target, and Rite Aid. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Goodyear knows the importance of keeping momentum as you head down the stretch. Momentum starts with movement. It's pulled from the air like a contested rebound. Momentum builds with steals and fast breaks, and is proven by deep threes as the shot clock expires. Momentum is how we change the game, and now it's time to discover where it can take us. Goodyear, more driven.
Do you hear My Computer Career ads and think, I don't know anything about computers? Well, you don't have to. Before starting, many graduates could turn a computer on and off, and that's it. And now they're IT pros. You could do it too. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new life in as little as 4 months. Grants covering up to 53% of the cost are available to those who qualify. It's not rocket science. It's My Computer Career.
It is the Blitz. You're on 1250 ESPN San Antonio. You can look at your screen now. We're there. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. 6 o'clock will be full of nothing but Spurs talk. So settle down. Jill Jelnick will be here just a second. Everybody simmer down. Jazz game's not till later this evening. In the meantime, Jason, I just read this one. And I think this is symbolic of where we are. Duquesne University, or to the new to the school, the Duquesne University.
Really?
Duquesne. Duquesne. Yeah, that school. They have hired a brand new type of coach. They're the first university to go hire a personal brand coach.
Interesting.
That is the first that I have heard of with the new NIL stuff. They have actually gone and got somebody to help you bring up your social presence, your social media presence to monetize your name, image, or likeness.
Normally, that would be a marketing manager, a marketing consultant, a brand manager, public relations specialist, brand specialist. But give them a whistle, call them a coach. Why not? Add it in.
Think about the importance of where we're headed. And you know the schools. I saw a list of the schools that have been pretty successful in the transfer portal, as everybody I think is passing go and changing schools that doesn't have a starting job in the country, no matter the sport. That the schools that are being chosen by those that do have pro aspirations are the ones that have avenues already in place to capitalize on the new NIL availability, the way that these players can make some money in it. And to hear Duquesne being the first to actually have someone on their staff whose sole role will be to help these kids find a way to monetize that, I think it's the first, and I would imagine before the next kickoff of the next season, that most Division I schools will have somebody in that position. That sole responsibility is to help these guys and girls to find some money that was never available to them prior.
I look at
least legally.
Let's you mentioned the transfer portal. One of the things that UIW coach Eric Morris talked about was, he at his level, he's not a fan of it because you develop a player and they could hit the portal and go. Cam Ward, their freshman quarterback today, named the Jerry Rice Award winner, which is the freshman football player of the year. What is Incarnate Word going to do to try to make sure he stays in San Antonio? Can he work a local deal? You look over at, a Frank Harris or, a Josh Atkins, the quarterbacks there at UTSA, but quarterbacks are easy to pick out and say, all right, let's see what kind of money you can make. Could you imagine the money Sam Ehlinger would have made at UT or even Kellen Mond in College Station? Maybe more than they'll make in the NFL if this was around 5 years ago. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. And the fact that they're calling him a coach, I appreciate that.
Well, personal brand coach, marketing specialist, agent, it's all the same.
Social media strategist.
There's that. I've seen that on business cards. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm sure it's important. I'm sure there's something going on behind the scenes. Hey, let's talk some Spurs in a realistic and fun way. Jill Jelnick will join us. She of sports. I don't know why I said realistic and fun, but we got to find something. We're talking Spurs game night, San Antonio.
Marvel Universe is happening tonight in the NBA, and that's not real or fun.
We'll discuss. Oh, it is fun. Hero points. We'll name our Marvel candidates tonight as the Jazz take on the Spurs. The Jazz with Rudy Gobert. What Marvel character would Rudy Gobert be? Think about it. We'll be right back. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Tune in every Sunday morning from 11 to 1 for the Sunday Sports Grill. Hosted by last year's and this year's Rock the Mic champs, Michael Jimenez and Quinn Hudson. Every Sunday, 11 to 1. The Sunday Sports Grill. Chop it up and grill with former and current Rock the Mic champs Michael Jimenez and Quinn Hudson. Every Sunday, 11 to 1. 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Injuries happen. If you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need to know about the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. From a minor sprain to a compound fracture, TSAOG has got you covered. Not all injuries require surgery. Dr. David Espinosa treats all non-operative orthopedic injuries and concussion baseline testing. Telemedicine services are available through Ortho Connect. If you're hurting, go to the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Online, TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com.
If you're a bacon lover, I've got great news for you. This is Michael Kielbasa with Kielbasa Smoked Meats. Our authentic dry-cured bacon is now available at grocery stores near you. We make it the old-fashioned way with the finest pork bellies and our legendary spice blend. We don't pump it full of water or chemicals like other brands. All you get is thick, savory slices of delicious bacon. I hope you'll give it a try, and if it's not the best bacon you've ever eaten, I'll give you your money back. Kielbasa Smoked Meats, slow-crafted in Texas since 1949.
Jason Minix here for Alamo Water Softeners. While we can't control the quality of the water supply that comes to your home, you can control the quality of water that comes through it. Don't wait until you suspect something is wrong with your water to call Alamo Water Softeners. Some chemicals and contaminants are undetectable. Let Alamo Water Softeners come to your house and give you a free water analysis and free estimate. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners different. Go to alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com.
This is Rob Thompson. I'm with my brother, Jason, my lawyer. He's with the Thompson Law Firm. Now, Jason, I got a question for you. I see lawyer advertisements, billboards, TV. How do I choose a lawyer?
I see the exact same advertisements, and it would be tough, I think, if you don't have a relationship with an attorney deciding who to pick. I think the things that you need to think about are whether or not the law firm and the lawyer I hire will be my lawyer. And what I mean by that is not a face on a billboard, but never actually seeing that lawyer. I'm talking about hiring the lawyer that I want to represent me. And so when you come in, I am the one that meets you, and I will take you through every step of the process. I will handle the insurance companies. I will help you with your recovery. I will take you through that entire process, and knowing full well that that is my client, not just for today, but for the rest of their life.
Be smart. Protect yourself and your family. Call Jason Thompson, a lawyer for us. 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble? No one likes that. We can get you set up for the warmer temps ahead. Let's start with a free battery test. If you're just in need of a charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination. Claim based on data from the MPD Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Hey, we get it. You don't want to be hearing a Progressive commercial right now, so let us tell you something you do want to hear. You are powerful. You're a warrior who bathes in your enemy's tears. Then you step out of that refreshing tear bath and into a bathrobe that somehow looks good on you. Yeah, you can pull off a robe. There, don't you feel better? You'll also feel better when you save money for driving safely with Snapshot from Progressive. Savings you can use to buy more robes. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California, North Carolina, or from all agents.
ESPN San Antonio, all day, every day. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM, KZDC San Antonio. Jason Minix, Rob Thompson, The Blitz.
That is The Blitz. kinda, on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, on the go at ESPNSA.com. You know why it's only kind of the Blitz? Because we've added more talent. We're the Blitz Plus right now. It's Game Night San Antonio. It's brought to you by Mellow Mushroom, and when we do Game Night, we do it with Jill Jelnick. Welcome aboard, Jill. How was your weekend? So glad to see you again.
Thanks for having me. Great weekend. Looking forward to some good basketball this week. Maybe a Spurs upset here or there, one or two. We'll see.
So you want good basketball or do you want Spurs basketball? Do you want good basketball or are you going to be watching the Spurs?
Well, no, she's going to watch the Golden State New Orleans game tonight, the Marvel game that Pledge is all excited about.
I'm here for it too. I love me some Marvel. Why not?
Do you really?
Especially with those two teams. Yeah, I do. I'm a huge Marvel, Avengers, any one of those guys. Captain America. Oh yeah, I'm here for it. So I would actually watch that if I wasn't already tuned in on the Spurs, of course. Duh. Of course,
yeah, sure.
Rob.
Of course. Now, before we look forward to the Jazz tonight, and the good news is there will be no Conley and there will be no Spida. So there is that bit of good news. But the fact is, after a weekend like the Spurs went through, that little East Coast trip was as brutal as 3 days of basketball I think the Spurs have dealt with since I can't think of two games the way that they lost in two entirely different ways that could be more deflating.
Well, and isn't that just like the perfect example and microcosm of what the Spurs have been, especially this second half of the season? Just flip a coin because you just don't know which Spurs team you're going to get. You get the Spurs team that blows the huge lead to the Boston Celtics, and then you have this impressive performance last night from the Spurs, who are down 4 starters, not just one, not just two, not just three, 4 starters. And they put together an impressive game, force overtime against the 76ers, and come up short to fall short to a tip-in, last-second tip-in, just a heartbreaker. But to your point, Rob, it's been just, we talk about how much of a roller coaster this team is, but my goodness, the overtime games, the back and forth, the flip a coin, don't know what you're going to get. This is just exhausting trying to keep up with this team. It makes you not even want to guess what's going to happen tonight against the Utah Jazz.
Well, I think I know what's going to happen. I mean, that's the scary part is because the Jazz are.
Do you?
Well, I think the Jazz are a team that is trying to hang on to that number 1 overall seed. I don't know what to make of the Spurs. The Boston loss last night, you're what, down 10, you rally, you send the game to overtime. And
down 17.
Philadelphia makes 1 field goal in an overtime session, and it happens to be a tip-in with 0.2. I don't even know how you decide you want to go back on a basketball court after the weekend that these Spurs have had. Although Pop seems very glass half full, talking about the bright spots like Alani Walker.
Well, all right, let's talk about the bright spots. Spurs over the last
I think
3
it's singular.
This is the bright spot. Let's not kid ourselves. Lonnie playing well in the 6th man, but let's not take away from the performance that we have seen recently with DeMar and DeJounte. The combo has been impressive. Minus Derek White, these guys have played very well together. I'm looking at numbers. Let's see here. The last 48 points combined, 13.5 rebounds, and 20.5 assists per game from your backcourt. That's impressive basketball. Why isn't it translating to wins?
Yeah, and that's. I mean, haven't we been asking that question for almost this entire second half of the season? First of all, they're playing good teams. Okay. Second of all, this team is tired. They are fatigued. They're at the backstretch of a ridiculously tough schedule, 40 games in 68 days. That's why Coach Pop rested 4 starters last night. Rob, we've talked about how hard it is when you have guys sitting out and resting, how hard it is for the other guys to get momentum, to to find some sort of a flow. There's a lot of things going against this team. That's why, despite Gorgie Jang's 17 points last night, which you want to talk about a bright spot, Lonnie Walker for sure, but I loved what I saw from Gorgie Jang, right? Stepping up with Jakob Poeltl absent, Drew Eubanks, there's another bright spot. The second half of the season, he's had more minutes, he's had more time, more confidence in his play. Those are several bright spots, Rob, but to your question, why can't they string these wins together? It's just not one thing. It's a handful of things, and they're going against the Spurs, and that's why Pop is trying to do everything he can to find the right lineup while also giving his guys rest.
Well, and to answer your question, they're not a good basketball team, which is why they're not winning these games. They've got to figure out, I mean, again, last night was essentially—
they're not a great basketball team. Yeah.
They were punting the game last night, kind of like they did in Phoenix, and the Phoenix win, one of their more impressive of the year, last night certainly could have fell in there, especially after what happened to them in Boston. You punted the game last night and ended up taking the damn thing to overtime. You can't make heads or tails. I mean, the wine delivery guy to Pop's house must see an increase, because that's the only way I figure Pop is able to deal with this is going home and having good wine, because he can't go to a good restaurant.
Spurs take on the Jazz tonight. It's going to be a late tip, so set your alarms in the morning because you might be up kind of late, because Spurs play these things. What do you figure? One overtime, two overtimes? We get extra basketball whenever the Spurs are involved. Just make sure you turn your TV off about 2 minutes before the end of that overtime, and you'll rest relatively comfortably, and you won't have to actually suffer through the way that they're going to collapse, whether it be a late tip or giving up 60 to Jason Tatum. With the Jazz tonight minus Donovan, that's certainly going to be huge for the Spurs, and this is an opportunity to pick up a conference win. In all seriousness, this has been a rough sled. We thought that they had put the Pelicans down last week with that win, with enough games to separate them, but as the Spurs very quickly lose two consecutive, we see the Jazz win two consecutive, and start to make that run. When we look at what Utah does and the relative health of this Spurs team, you think they're going to hold on? Because I know they're going to try. I know that they're heading toward the playoffs as if, but can they hold on this two-game run, especially knowing they got the Jazz twice and it doesn't get any easier after that?
I believe
you're asking whether the Spurs can hold on?
Can they hold on if they go 500? If they continue playing the way that they are, we know that they're legitimately trying. Yeah, they're trying to do this. Can they?
Well, they've got the tiebreaker over New Orleans, right? After that last win the other day. So, it's 2.5 in the standings. They've got the Jazz, they got the Kings, the Blazers, the Bucks, the Nets, the Knicks, who are playing well, and then 2 games to close out against the Suns. Show me 3 wins in there. Show me 3 wins in there, because I think that's about what it's going to take when you look at this final stretch. You might get a cheap one against Phoenix if the 1 seed is already locked up. The Nets, they're battling. The Knicks have turned into a good basketball team. The Bucks, the Blazers. I mean, show me 3 wins. I mean, I'm with you. I thought that they kind of had this thing wrapped up because New Orleans looked like they were trying to lose more than the Spurs were trying to win. Now all of a sudden, New Orleans is playing good basketball. And honestly, I think this game tonight, the Marvel game, whatever it is, it's
going to be huge.
If Golden State wins this game, maybe New Orleans kind of packs it in. Maybe because their schedule isn't that much easier.
I was just going to say, I think you got to, we're talking about the Spurs schedule, right? How difficult it is these next 9 games. And I completely agree with you, but the Pelicans schedule does not do them any justice. Warriors also have, I think, a couple tough game matchups in theirs. The Pelicans have Golden State twice, tonight and tomorrow. So they got a Sega Baba. Then the Pelicans face the 76ers, Charlotte, Memphis, Dallas. They're going to go pay a visit to Luka. Golden State again. The Pelicans have to face Golden State 3 times in the next 8 games. And then the Pelicans finish with the Lakers. So is the Spurs schedule the next 2 weeks tough? Yes, but I'm going to say the Pelicans might be even tougher just with that Golden State, because Golden State is going to fight for their lives and then some to try to keep their positioning in this tournament. So I think the Spurs are going to struggle these next 2 weeks, but I think they'll have a little help from the Pelicans' schedule.
And in all seriousness,
that's my point.
Let's not take away from the 3.5 quarters of pretty damn good basketball the Spurs seem to play every game. I mean, we do have flashes, and despite the win-losses, there are moments when you look at this team, and I can see why Pop goes, I can see, let's get to this 10, because if this team plays tonight, they're going to win. But that's, only 1 in 5 nights, I feel like, and they do have the talent. We're going to go through, look at the Jazz, also see if we can figure out who the Human Torch or Ben Grimm or Reed Richards is on the Jazz. It's Marvel Night across the NBA. We're going to assign characters to our Spurs and the Jazz. I have no idea who these people are. We'll see if it's appropriate. Coming back. You're on Game Night San Antonio. It's brought to you by Mellow Mushroom. You're on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
We all like things to be easy and convenient. New Brakes has done that with brake repair. Jason Minnick's here for New Brakes. They're a mobile brake shop. That means they will come to you to fix your brakes, your home, your office, wherever you are. New Brakes will come out to your house. They provide convenient and affordable brake repairs. Your house, your office, wherever you're going to be for about an hour, and all they do is fix brakes. No traditional upsells like at a normal repair shop because they're only fixing brakes. They use premium brake parts and back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Save 10% when you mention my name or ESPN San Antonio at nubrakes.com. Whether you're busy at work, relaxing at the house, you continue to do what you do while New Brakes fixes your brakes, and they're great at what they do. Go read all the 5-star reviews and schedule your repair now at nubrakes.com. nubrakes.com for New Brakes.
Sundays are for the grill. The Sunday Sports Grill, 11 in the morning to 1. Chop it up and grill with former and current Rock the Mic champs Michael Jimenez and Quinn Hudson. The Sunday Sports Grill, 11 to 1 every Sunday.
Man, it was hot out there today. You want to make sure your AC is ready to go for the hot summer months. Call my friends over at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heating, and AC. Have them out to your house and do a tune-up on your air conditioning unit. Make sure it is ready to go. Catch a small problem now before it turns into a major problem in July or August. 210-651-5899 is the phone number for Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heating, and AC. If you've got issues with your plumbing, certainly no better company to call. They're full service, big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked and they have all the equipment needed for any job. No commission sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions. They have a great experienced staff that has earned an A+ ranking with the Better Business Bureau. 210-651-5899, 651-5899, or online, quartermoonplumbing.com.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
When it's more than just your lawn, it deserves the Kubota Z400. Get a head-turning offer on class-leading speed, agility, simple deck height adjustments, and a quality cut. When you need comfort and performance, then you need the professional-grade Kubota Z400. Right now, get the Kubota Z400 mower for 0 down and 0% APR for 48 months or save $300 now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
From the Gulf of Mexico to the hill country of Texas, Ewald Kubota is your Kubota dealer.
Pain creeps up on you. It starts with slight discomfort and inflammation. You wait for it to go away, but it gets worse. It never stops, and the pain zaps your mobility. You're out of options except for surgery. Stop right there. You have another choice for relief. That's QC Kinetics. Hey, it's James Pledger. The medical professionals at QC Kinetics help jumpstart the healing process without surgery or drugs. They use powerful, non-invasive, regenerative cell treatments so the body heals itself. Patients who never thought they'd see an end to the pain are telling everyone they know about their astonishing recoveries. Maybe you strained a muscle lifting something, twisted a knee or an ankle exercising, or you noticed joint aches and pains. You need to check out QC Kinetics regenerative cell solutions that go to work relieving the pain with treatments right in the office. Call today for your free consultation at QC Kinetics in Hollywood Park in Westover Hills. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Don't wait. Call 210-571-0318.
To all you do-it-yourselfers, get ready to welcome Fram into the fam. Because America's #1 oil filter brand now has their own new line of motor oil and fluids. And it's only at Advance and CarQuest Auto Parts. Stop into Advance and choose from 4 new Fram oil change bundles starting at just $20.99. They have the oil and filters you need to keep your engine running stronger, longer. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
Game Night San Antonio, brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom.
This is Manu Ginobili.
This is Matt Bonner, a.k.a. the Red Rocket, a.k.a. the Red Mamba, a.k.a. the Sandwich Hunter.
Hi, this is DeJounte Murray. It's Game Night San Antonio.
Game Night San Antonio, brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom.
It's Game Night San Antonio, and it's always brought to you by Mellow Mushroom. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. We are joined, as always, by YOLO's own Sports2Nite's best, Jill Jelnick. Welcome aboard. We're getting ready for the Marvel night around the NBA, and while the Spurs aren't quite considered to be superheroes, we're going to do our best to cull through the literally hundreds of Marvel characters to figure out exactly where the Spurs land in this universe of superheroes.
Is there more than one universe? Because honestly, and I'm not a Marvel guy, right? So Pledge says, let's create Marvel characters. I thought maybe there's 8 or 10.
It's a multiverse.
On the Marvel website, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages, and then it says next to 73. Are they making this stuff up? This can't be real.
It's very real.
I mean, seriously?
Yeah. You ever heard of the character the Black Knight?
Just curious. Yeah, what characters have you heard of? Like, what if we said, what are your favorite Marvel characters? Can you name a couple?
Well, first off, I would probably get it wrong, but no, I couldn't, tell you if he played on Marvel or what's the other one, DC.
Good job,
DC.
You learn some stuff through osmosis when you hang around James Pledger because you get very offended if you mess those things up. I know Captain America. As soon as I heard Captain America, that was fine. As I'm going through the rest of these, Spider-Man, sure, but yeah, some of these others, no.
All right. Appropriate to the Spurs. Let's start with Greg Popovich. What superhero or like would you picture Pop? Because, if you were going to draw him, he looks like a Marvel character now. I mean, we're almost there. If you're going to put him in a comic book, he looks like the bad guy. I'm just going to throw that out there. So, knowing that, where would he land? What's the
only because it's on my page right here first, and it kind of looks like him after you blow a 40-point lead to the Celtics. Taskmaster. Are you familiar with the Taskmaster character?
Very familiar with Taskmaster. He was actually the upcoming villain in the Black Widow movie this summer.
So your superhero name is Taskmaster?
Super villain.
He's a multitasker.
That guy's gonna put you to work, man.
Mm-hmm.
You do not want Taskmaster showing up. You're gonna be out mowing the yard. You're gonna be straightening things up. You're gonna be getting things ready to go. The Taskmaster, when he takes over, things get difficult. And done, by the way.
Some of these can't
Jill
be
had
real.
a really good one for Pop.
I'm just going through. Here's Absorbing Man. That's really a superhero, Absorbing Man.
All right, so Taskmaster is Pop.
Whoa. Because Jill had a really good one for Pop in the break.
Oh, okay. What's this one?
Oh, yeah. And this is, even if you're not a Marvel fan, maybe you're an X-Men fan, and you know Professor X, Charles Xavier, the leader, the telepathic, the commander-in-chief. He knows everything that's going to happen before it happens. You can't tell me that does not scream Coach Pop. And he's bald and kind of older.
Now you get to wear that
Pop
helmet.
has his hair, but
Would Pop wear that helmet?
Well, he used to shave his hair, if you
he
remember.
doesn't need it. He doesn't need it.
Well, look, I'm still on the A's, but with the Pop's new hairstyle, something called Agatha Harkness could be Greg Popovich.
Is he going to go drag?
It was Agatha all along.
All right.
Have
so
you
we got
seen
Pop.
Agatha's hair?
Yes.
I mean, I think Pop is copying something here.
Well, Rob should know Agatha Harkness because she ended up being the bad reveal in WandaVision, which you just finished.
Oh, so that's who that is.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it. Well, most superheroes look like they're in drag anyway, so we can go with that. I mean, they're wearing spandex and capes. It's a non-binary kind of situation for the most part. So, okay, moving right along. After Greg Popovich, we'll go with DeMar DeRozan for our Marvel character. What would be the most appropriate to those that know?
I'm going with Captain America right then and there. Especially this season, leading the way, selfless. You know, a little vocal, but not over the top, kind of flashy in your face. Do it all himself. I do what's best for the team. Captain America, DeMar DeRozan, done.
I'm down. I think he's earned it. Although the Rocket Raccoon or whatever sounds really good, but he is in fact our leader. Yeah, he's in fact. So we'll give him the preeminent one. All right, moving down the list. Let's go to Young Buck DeJounte. Where does he land on the Marvel scale?
Ooh.
James, thoughts?
You know, yeah, go ahead, Pledge.
Well, for me, I look at him and I think he is kind of the leader of this team. He's the young up and coming. And who is the most young and up and coming in the Marvel universe? Well, that
Ant-Man.
would be Black Panther, who got his last solo movie first. He is the king of Wakanda. He is the heir to the throne here in San Antonio.
I like it.
Nope.
I like it.
No
I'm
argument here.
going to second that.
Now, don't you wish Lonnie still had his hair? Because this would make it so much easier to pick. But Lonnie Walker, our sixth man, is there like a sixth man superhero, one that comes in to save the day late?
Ooh, like fresh off the bench, a superhero right off the bench, right?
Whatever it might be. Yeah, somebody that just not a starter, but you know, guys that.
I don't know what this person does. But what about Air Walker? Because that's like a real thing. It's on page 2 of the A's.
There's an Air Walker.
Really? You didn't make that up?
No, in all seriousness, it's page 2 of the A's.
Air Walker Marvel. Yeah.
Yeah. Who knew? He's already there.
I had those shoes for a while.
All
right.
I remember the walks.
Where would Patty Mills land?
Patty. Ooh, that's a good one. He's a good one.
All right.
What
about the raccoon?
I like Rocket.
On that one.
He's feisty.
Raccoon. He's kind of a badass, right? Yeah, he's feisty. We saw it. He's kind of a badass. He'll blow you up. Who's Groot?
Who?
Oh, that's got to
Drew
be.
Eubanks.
I'm going to go with Drew Eubanks. Yes, I was thinking the same thing. He's tall, like so lanky, kind of be like get in
Moves
your face
awkwardly.
a little bit, but like kind of has some awkward moments. Not
Are you
gonna
talking
lie,
about-
Drew
you talking
Eubanks.
about Drew or
I love
Boban?
it.
Well, Groot's only about
Either.
Well, Groot's a little bitty dude. The little Groot, right? He's a little bitty thing, right?
But before he was baby Groot, he was big Groot. You must have missed Guardians of the Galaxy.
The first
Volume
one, yeah.
That's okay, Rob. We won't
got
hold
older.
it against you.
He aged out.
He actually got younger. Yeah.
Well, we're up against it. We only have 30 seconds to go. Yes, Spurs and Jazz. Jason sweated through a Marvel segment. We'd like to.
Which page of the A's are you on?
For the
Atlas,
participation?
page 7. They're just making up A words, man. This is ridiculous.
We managed to make Pop some sort of female non-binary superhero, and that's really all we wanted to do. Spurs
Beast.
taking on the Jazz tonight. It's not a Sega Baba, but it's kind of like that. We got a gentleman. Are they going to split real quick?
No.
They're going to split. Yes.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yes.
This has been the Blitz.
The first thing on our bucket list? Fill the bucket with ice cold beer. San Antonio's sports leader. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.